Happy Tuesday, folks. Welcome back to #AskGSM here today, episode 641 for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. I had to check the calendar there. We're going through the month of March so quickly. It's crazy. At least the spring weather, at least here in the Northeast, is finally on the brink of arriving. We kind of had a really nice day yesterday. Today's not quite as nice, but it's still somewhat decent, which is great. But hope you guys are doing well and enjoying your week. Of course, as always, joining us here for today's episode of #AskGSM. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would be so kind, be sure to like the video, subscribe. If you haven't already, all that support is amazingly appreciated. We'll get into the housekeeping stuff as we normally do to kick off today's show. First, want to shout out the channel members: Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm at I'm Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG. Shout out to Swerve, by the way. He was at Raw and SmackDown this past week. And we're not talking Swerve Strickland either. He's actually better, is this Swerve. But shout out to him. He had a great time at Raw and SmackDown this past week. Love to hear it. Shout out to one Mr. Marceau as well, who I saw on Saturday at his housewarming party, which was great. Got to see him in person for the first time in a few months. He is on the X Machine at RJ_Marceau. John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube. Richie Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube. And Average Grunt, last but certainly not least, at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. More information on how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member down below in the description box. If you want to send in a question to the show for me to answer here on the show, if you can't send in the question while we're live, of course, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the #AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a post I usually put up on Monday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video. After it's, of course, done being live and processing and whatnot, we'll include your question in next week's edition. So with all that being said, got to make sure we're unmuted here, which we are, thankfully. Let me pull up the chat as we always do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always, as I mentioned earlier. Eric, what's going on, brother? He said, ask Grant for his thoughts on the Ravens off-season move so far. I will be sure to text Grant about that, get his 2 cents. Mr. Marceau would be the perfect person to ask. Unfortunately, he will not be around on Thursday for WrestleRant Radio. He will be in Florida. So maybe we'll get Grant on as a special guest analyst for WrestleRant Radio. That would be interesting. Fernando, what's going on, my man? He said, believe the hype. Whoops, I mean WrestleRant. What's going on, my man? He said, were the Usos justified for attacking Punk last night? It's a good question. First of all, I really liked the segment. I thought the segment was great. I think the storytelling there with those three and with Roman is really well done so far. They got to make sure they don't peak too early. And the whole Usos Punk segment is what will lead to our question here today. Will the Bloodline reunite again at WrestleMania 42? We'll talk about that later. But were they justified for getting physical with Punk? I'm going to say no. Was Punk justified? Well, actually, yes and no. I will say yes. Because Punk shit on. It wasn't their father. Their father's Rikishi. But still, Punk's, Roman's father was shit on by Punk last week. He disrespected his dead dad. And that's not really fair to the Usos. Although Punk made a great point. Why should I have to apologize when Roman Reigns never apologized for being a dick for all those years? And you guys are back in his good graces, and that's wonderful. He never really apologized. He acknowledged you, Jay. He's happy for your success as a former world heavyweight champion and whatnot. But he never really apologized. And honestly, he's not wrong. I mean, that's the biggest crux of the character of Roman Reigns, is that people cheer him now, and that's great. But he's still kind of a dick. And Punk really just kind of stooped down to his level. Punk's really no better in this situation, if we're being honest, because he just took a shot at Roman's dead dad for no reason. He wanted to make it personal. So one is no better than the other. So the answer is yes, they were justified for pushing him down last night. What grade do I give the Finn Balor redemption story that was told leading into last night? I think it's been really well done. Honestly, I think the whole story, to me, it was originally tailored to Dominic. I thought Dominic and Liv would break off as baby faces. They were organically over anyway. Finn was, no one really gave a shit about Finn for the longest time. But they've really turned that around since his World Heavyweight Championship match with Punk back in January. They had a really good rematch at Elimination Chamber. He's got his old music back. People are behind Balor now, which is great to see for the first time in a long time. And I thought the angle last night was great. I'm glad they finally ripped off the fucking Band-Aid and took Balor out of the group. They really should just disband the entire Judgment Day as a whole. And I say slowly but surely, but like they've been doing it slowly but surely for the last 4 fucking years. So, I mean, there really is no slow burn breakup for the Judgment Day at this point. They've been telling that story now for like 3 or 4 years. Anyway, I thought the redemption story for Balor leading into last night was great. I thought the angle was great. So I'm going to give it a B+, A-. We have to see how it plays out in the remainder of the story leading into WrestleMania, the match with Dom, presumably. But I thought it was really well done. Fernando said, didn't we all have Dom and Liv turning baby? Well, there you go. I just said the same thing. Didn't we all have Dom and Liv turning babyface and leaving the Judgment Day instead of Finn? We did, but I feel like they've switched directions so many times. I don't know if it's because Dom got hurt late last year, Liv got hurt, that kind of pushed back the story last summer. I feel like that was the original plan. But then at the same time, like, the original plan, presumably, not even presumably, they outright fucking told us on Unreal, that we were supposed to get Finn Dom at Mania a year ago. And Balor was going to be the demon then. Now, I have 2 thoughts on that. One, if Balor was going to be the demon, then why would he have been a heel for that match? But then again, my other thought on it is he was the fucking demon for that Edge match inside Hell in the Cell, and he was a heel then too. So it's not as if the demon is a babyface character. They had him as the demon as a heel 3 years ago. So they've done it before. They probably would have done it again. I do think it makes more sense for him to be the demon as a babyface, because it's like a character that people really like. Fernando said, according to many reports, if Braun Breaker is not healthy in time for Mania, the pivot is Rollins versus Lesnar or Knight versus Lesnar. Which of these possibilities do you prefer? Neither of them, obviously. I fucking hate both of them. Of the 2 of them, probably Rollins Brock, because if it's not Rollins Brock, what do you do with Rollins? If you don't do Knight Brock, what the fuck do you do with Knight? You know, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Both options to me are garbage because Knight and Brock is fresh. We've never seen it. But that sounds like the match would not be great. It sounds like a retread of Dean and Brock from a decade ago where Brock did not want to do anything Dean wanted to do. And granted, Dean had a lot of like dumb ideas for like hardcore shit, but it's a fucking street fight. So like if there was any match to really go all out, it would have been that one. And Brock didn't want to do shit. So with LA Knight, it's not like, would it even sell for LA Knight? I feel like that match would be 3 minutes. Rollins and Brock at Mania 35 was like 2 or 3 minutes. Granted, that was a hot angle. It was a great finish. And they went on to have a great match at SummerSlam that year, like an actual match. But if they had an actual match again at WrestleMania, would it be any better than the SummerSlam match from 2019? Probably not. Brock is a lot lazier at this point. He was lazy even then, but he's a lot lazier now. Rollins, to me, is a cold character. Like, people are happy that he's back, but is he a babyface? Like, the whole Masked Men bullshit is fucking terrible. So of those 2 possibilities, you know, the lesser of the 2 evils, I'm going to say Rollins and Brock. I could see people saying Knight and Brock because we haven't seen it before. Knight will be no better off after that match. He might actually even be worse off. I would actually might prefer Knight not even being on the show than being on Mania, having a match with Brock, having it go 4 minutes, and Brock just destroys him the entire time. It would actually make LA Knight, in my opinion, make him look like an even bigger loser than he already is. So probably Rollins. I don't think Rollins and Brock, I mean, again, their match at Mania 35 was like 2 or 3 minutes, but at least that was with Rollins decisively going over. If they were to do that again at Mania, I mean, I don't see Knight beating Brock. Knight or Rollins beating Brock is more likely. Ideally, it should be Brock and Obafemi. But you are right that both of those options seem to be pretty likely since Braun Breaker is out hurt as well as Bronson Reed. Nathaniel, what's going on, brother? He said, how would you feel about a Becky, AJ, and Bayley match at Mania? I like that. I don't mind it. I actually would probably prefer that over Becky, AJ 2. But we've only had Becky and AJ once. I could see them going back to the singles match. I think they will get a singles match. I like that match a lot, and it's more interesting than Becky and AJ again one-on-one. In my opinion, obviously, we're getting AJ and Bayley next week on Raw for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The problem with that scenario, though, is that if you do that match, Lyra's not on WrestleMania. And that would suck. Lyra had a really good past year. The last 6 months, she's been kind of in the tag team division. But, you know, I think leading up to that point, she was booked really well as the Women's Intercontinental Champion. And she had that great feud with Becky by and large. If Bayley's not in that match at Mania for the Women's IC title, she would very likely be in the tag team title picture. I would be fucking shocked if they took Bayley off of last year's Mania and then we're like, yeah, we're not even going to put you on the card for this year. That would be fucking wild. When there's a spot that makes sense, in that presumable women's tag team title match. It's got to be a multi-team match. I mean, the irresistible forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, are now the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They're a fine team. That's cool, great, whatever. If it's them against the Bella Twins, I'm sorry. That sounds like it's fucking terrible. That sounds garbage. You got to have other teams involved, specifically Bayley and Lyra. And I would have Bayley and Lyra walk out the new tag team champions, if not soon after. Nathaniel, I did see your tweet, by the way, that you sent me before the show about getting new Seahawks Super Bowl gear yesterday. Very cool. Sony is thinking about doing a Spider-Man Wolverine team-up movie. How would you feel about that? You ask me about that almost every week, Nathaniel. God bless you. I don't see that happening. Would that be cool? Sure. I mean, you've talked a lot about Toby in Wolverine. I mean, just because it's Spider-Man and Wolverine, it could be a completely different Wolverine and a completely different Spider-Man. I honestly would be fucking shocked if we ever got a Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, Spider-Man, Wolverine team-up at this point. We kind of got that with him in Deadpool. I don't really see them doing that again. So how would I feel about it? It sounds cool on paper, but like Tom Holland and Hugh Jackman or a different Wolverine or a different Spider-Man, it would have to be done well. Let me go back up here a little bit. Daniel, what's going on, my man? Hope you're doing well. Reporting live from the Kiana Hive. The leader of the Kiana James fan base, the fan group or whatever the fuck you want to call it himself, is Mr. Daniel Malcolm. He's been on that bandwagon. I can't see myself jumping on that bandwagon, but as I've said to Daniel and others in the last 2 weeks, I thought she had a solid showing inside the Elimination Chamber. I'm still no Kiana James fan. I genuinely still give zero fucks about Kiana James, and I feel like they have better women on their show than Kiana James. But she had a good showing in the Chamber. I will give her that, and she has improved. Nathaniel also said, I am happy we got babyface Finn back. Are we getting Finn versus Liv? We are not getting Finn versus Liv. I think the only intergender match, correct me if I'm wrong, the only intergender match they have done in any number of years is Akira Tozawa versus Rhea Ripley on Raw like 3 or 4 years ago. And that was like a joke match. And it was good. I actually enjoyed it, but it was Akira fucking Tozawa. Now, could Rhea face some of the men? Yeah. Would Liv be able to? I mean, Finn would just destroy Liv. I mean, let's be honest. Finn would fucking kill Liv. If it was an actual match, a competitive match, Liv is great. She is not on Finn's level. For as much of a loser as Finn is in storyline, he would still destroy Liv. I mean, that's not even a question. But no, maybe a mixed tag team match, but one-on-one, we will never get that, I don't think. Eric said, I think Liv and Dom are next two to go. Face, Liv and Mania, and Dom, let's say Backlash. I mean, maybe, but like, would you really turn Balor and then the other two like a month later? That just feels too soon to me. If you were going to turn Dom, now would have been the time. But they went with Balor in that direction instead, and that's fine. I have no issue with that. I think there is more there with Dom as a heel. I would have turned him babyface too, but I don't think it's like he's that stale as a heel where you can't drag this out further. Like, I could see him winning Money in the Bank later this year, and if he wins Money in the Bank, I think it should be as a heel, not as a babyface. Alexis is here. Everyone say hello to Alexis. Welcome, welcome. Daniel said, where do you stand in the whole Roman never apologized discourse? I mentioned this earlier, but I completely agree. He never fucking apologized. I was saying that when the whole storyline was going on in late 2024. I think Roman's great. I'm glad he's a babyface. Well, he doesn't really act like a babyface, but I think the whole fan favorite turn for Roman has been wonderful to see. But my biggest issue with the character of Roman Reigns is that I was hoping after Paul Heyman turned on him specifically, he had no more Shield. He had no more Bloodline. He had no more Wise Man. He would have to hold himself accountable for as bad of a person as he was, and for being the dick that he was as a character on the show. That's why everyone eventually abandoned him. You know, Solo, Rollins even in the Shield, Dean left to a different company. You're not going to mention that, but Paul Heyman, the Usos, they all fucking ditched him. And he would have to apologize for the terrible human being that he acted like for 5 years, including to Paul Heyman himself. He treated Paul Heyman like shit for fucking 5 years by and large. No wonder Paul Heyman turned on him. I mean, Paul Heyman's a slimy, sleazy character, but he also was justified in some of his actions because Roman treated him like shit. But we're going to overlook that because Roman's cool. You know what I mean? Like, Roman did never apologize. I don't know if that's where they're going with it. I don't know if we will ever get that. Roman does not and should not go back to being the big dog of 10 years ago, obviously. But I do think it would be welcome character development for him to be basically forced to either feel bad or just outright apologize. Maybe not necessarily to Punk, but to like the Usos and all these other people that he has wronged in the last 5 years. And then, honestly, I think once you get to that point where Roman finally shows that he's vulnerable, that's when you turn Punk heel. Punk's like, all right, I'm going to be the dick that got you, that you were the dick. I'm going to be the dick that you were that got you to the top. I'm going to be the asshole. I'm going to embrace being the asshole. I made you look like a loser. I made you look like an idiot by being vulnerable and apologizing and showing that you were wrong. And I have no issue being that asshole. So I'm going to turn heel instead. I think that would be great storytelling, whether it be at Mania or soon after, like I said. Noob, what's going on, my man? He said, how am I doing today? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Daniel said, in kayfabe, Roman clearly can't be too mad at Punk's comments since he didn't even bother to show up yesterday. Yeah, no, you're right. He was so mad at Punk. In storyline, we know what dates Roman is working. They announced it a while ago, like the Brock thing, where we know what dates he's showing up for. He was so mad at what Punk had to say about his dad, he didn't even show up. Now, I thought the show was good without Roman Reigns last night, but you are right. If Roman was that fucking mad, why would they not, like, shoot something where he went to Punk's house? I mean, they're not going to fly Roman out to Chicago if they don't have to, but realistically, they should. I mean, it was weird to do that angle last week with him talking about Roman's dead dad, which I thought was great, and I didn't really have a major issue with it, depending on where they go with the story. And then for Roman not to be there. I thought he was going to be there last night until I saw the preview for the show, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's coming back next week. I would have saved that line for a different time. I thought that was weird. Can we get Tyreek in RJ's absence? We might. Hey, listen, Tyreek is always floating around. If he can show up, then Tyreek is always welcome to be my co-host on WrestleRant Radio on Thursday. Not Trevor, though. Fuck Trevor and his triple single bullshit. But Tyreek, he's more than welcome to join. He would have to show his face. Nathaniel said, do you think The Rock will appear soon in the Punk-Roman feud? No, I don't think so. I think there's a very big reason why they haven't mentioned him, and it's because they don't want to tease people with they don't want to tease people again with the Rock thing when they know he's not coming back for this year's Road to WrestleMania. So no, I don't think Roman will. I don't even really think he should. He could. Like, from a storyline standpoint, it would make sense. Punk's had issues with Rock. He called him a fucking bald fraud last year, and that went nowhere, unfortunately. He should be brought up. But even if he were to actually show up, I feel like he would overshadow the Punk-Roman stuff, so I wouldn't have him show up. To have him be brought up, sure. But then when you bring him up, the wrestling fans are going to think, oh, he's going to show up at Mania in a line with Roman, blah, 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 blah. Like, and he shouldn't. I just feel like that. If there was any Mania for him to show up at, it was last year. Or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, and he didn't. So it's just time to move on to me, in my opinion. Let's be honest, Noel said, Drew was never going to be champion going into WrestleMania because Triple H never believed in Drew as the guy. Couple comments there. I agree that it was never set in stone that Drew was going to walk into WrestleMania as champion. I agree with that. That doesn't mean that he shouldn't have, though. I think if you put the belt on him when they did, if they put the belt on him in September or November, then sure. If you took the belt off of him by the Rumble, by Chamber, when they did on Friday, I honestly would have less of an issue with it. But you only gave him like a 2-month run, which is better than nothing. I mean, he had to win. He had to beat Cody. If he did not beat Cody, he would be more of a loser than he currently is. So it absolutely could have been worse. I still say, if you wanted to take the belt off of Drew, do it at Mania. Orton taking the belt from Cody at this point, to me, is not that interesting. It's better than Cody retaining, which would be stupid. But he just got the belt back. It kind of fucks everything up. The SmackDown title scene feels like a fucking mess. Fatu being in there, to me, would be far more interesting. He's actually a fresh face in that title scene who has never held that championship before. The other part of your comment with Triple H not thinking Drew is the guy, I don't think it's not that it's not that he doesn't look at him as, oh fuck. Alexis is texting me. Does that mean Tyreek is here? Hold on. Okay, maybe not. She's texting me about something else. I thought it was because Tyreek was here. Actually, maybe. Hold on. Let me see what she texted me. Hold on. Okay. Give me a second. Alexis, I see, she sent me an email about something that was not related to the chat. It was about something we got coming up in the next couple days. I will look at that when we're done here on the stream. I thought it was a Tyreek appearance. Typically, when she texts me Mayday, it means that Tyreek is here. He is not here. I will address your text when I'm done here in a little while. But anyway, as far as Drew not being the guy, Drew, he kind of got fucked by COVID, man. He got fucked, and then the Bloodline story took off, and then Cody came back. If Cody does not come back, and I've said this before on this show, Drew would have been the guy to beat Roman for the title. I am certain of that. I feel like he would have absolutely fucking taken the title from Roman at that Clash in the Castle pay-per-view. So I don't know if he never not saw him as the guy. I think it's just more a matter of, that it was bad timing, really. It was just bad timing. Nathaniel said, if Finn is the Demon at Mania, he has to win. Do you agree? I agree, yes. I feel like, Dom doesn't need to win. He won at Mania last year. He doesn't need to fucking win. Finn lost as the Demon to Roman 5 years ago in that subpar match at Extreme Rules with that terrible fucking finish. And then the match with Edge, which was also kind of underwhelming from Mania 3 years ago. The Demon is dead, but if you want to try to revive him, he has to win a WrestleMania, yes. Eric said, LA Knight versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship and Seth versus Oba. Seth and random partner versus the Vision. I think you mean Brock and Oba, because Seth and Oba makes no sense. LA and Penta for the IC title is fine. I would be okay with that. That gets Penta on the card, it gets Knight on the card. I'd be cool with that. I think there's a better chance of it being a multi-man match, also involving like a Javon Evans or something. Now, they're all baby phases. LA Knight would have to win like a number one contenders match to face Penta at Mania. So, the build itself doesn't really sound all that interesting with both guys being popular baby faces, but at least it would get them on the card. Brock and Oba, I like. Seth and a random partner versus the Vision. It's going to be the Usos in there. The Usos are the World Tag Team Champions. They've been doing the Usos and the Vision for weeks. So could it be a triple threat tag team title match with the Vision? Knight and Rollins, by the way, joining forces, which I could absolutely see happening. He's just fucking dumb. For all the shit that Rollins put Knight through, why the fuck would Knight want to team with him? I could see them doing that just as a way to get them on the show. I would rather Knight not even be on the show. That match doesn't even make sense. If you have Rollins and Knight team up, I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying I've been thinking about that the last week, and that would just make zero sense. Just because they have a common enemy in the Vision, that would just be fucking dumb. Who would also Seth's random partner be for the Vision? LA Knight hates him. The Usos fucking hate him. I just don't think that would make sense. I think the Usos and the Vision is the Mania match, just straight up for the World Tag Team titles. Daniel said, the ring around the Rosie stuff with the Masked Man was awkward. That's putting it lightly. I just thought it was straight up garbage, honestly. And I'm not one to say something is garbage unless I genuinely think it's trash. That whole opening segment was a colossal waste of time. The Masked Man stuff is so tired. It's so repetitive. It's so unoriginal. If you thought it was fine or you liked it, I've heard, RJ said he thought it was fine, and that's okay. Someone else I heard from said it was, they thought it was okay. That's fine. I'm not shaming you if you liked it or thought it was fine. I just personally am telling you, I thought it was terrible fucking television. And the internet does have a tendency to overreact to stuff. I don't think that was an overreaction. I didn't watch Raw live. I never really watch it live. I watched it after the fact. I saw a lot of negative feedback to that segment, and I'm here to tell you I thought it was justified. I thought that was fucking terrible. Does Becky cost Bayley the match next week? I think there's a decent chance, yeah, that we see Becky pop up. I think AJ just beats Bayley straight up. Because if you have Becky cost Bayley, then you got to do Becky and Bayley again, and then it just, unless you do a triple threat, so I think there's a better chance of AJ just beating Bayley, and then Becky comes out and attacks AJ, and then we get the rematch at Mania. The WWE will never let Lyra get out of the ties early. I don't know what that means, Eric. Women's TLC Fernando is still trying to manifest that. Richie, what's going on, brother? He said, sup chat, sup peeps, sup cream. I will never live that down. I will never live that nickname down. That's even worse than fucking Gwen M. I got called Gwen M one time at Chick-fil-A about a year ago. It was unbelievable. I've told that story before. Millennial Noob said, I really hated the segment with the whole Masked Man shuffling in the ring. It was weird. Again, I thought it was not only weird, it was terrible. It was so fucking bad that it was channel-changing material. And honestly, I am here also to tell you, I don't think Raw is ever really that bad. The only two things on Raw right now that are that bad, the Brock promo from a couple of weeks ago was that bad, but the Masked Man shit is awful, and the Grande stuff is also, that's even worse, because they're devoting more time to it. I don't know really which is worse. I would say the Grande stuff is probably worse because it's been going on for so long now and with no real end game in sight. Grande versus Grande. Okay, cool, bro. I don't care. I don't think a lot of people care either. Is Randy versus Cody a lock, or is a fatal four-way still likely? It's possible. Is it likely at this point? No. I would be shocked if they did a four-way after already giving Cody the belt. They should do a four-way, but it looks like they already advertised Randy and Cody. I don't think you get people's hopes up with that match set in stone for Mania to then just do a four-way. You know, I would do a four-way. I don't give a fuck. I would do a four-way. I think that's the better option to go with. Randy and Cody would have been my Mania match. I am still excited for it. The Randy Cody thing to me just feels like the timing is wrong. The timing's been right for years, and even at this Mania, it would have made sense. But they wasted so much time in that Cody Drew bullshit, which the overall feud was fine, but it dragged on for so fucking long. It was like, what are we doing here? That I feel like they should have started Orton and Cody sooner. Like, not in like January necessarily, but like it just feels random. The timing feels off to me personally, but I am still looking forward to it. Richie said, I am home from work with food poisoning, but we locked in. Richie, I am fucking sorry to hear that. That is terrible. I don't know if I've ever had food poisoning. I probably have, and I just don't know it. I just didn't know it at the time. But that sucks. Sorry to hear that. That is never fun. Fernando said, Kiana James is growing on me as well. I got your back, Daniel. I mean, listen, I don't know if I'm in the minority or not that doesn't care about Kiana, but she does have a growing fan base, so Daniel is, I don't know if he's in the minority or not, but there are quite a people that are on that Kiana bandwagon, so he's not the only one on there, including in this chat. Daniel said, if they were going to do intergender, I feel like Rhea and Dom was the move. I agree. I feel like that would have been the match to do, and they did not do it. I completely agree with that. Richie said, beard going crazy. Fire, new gimmick incoming. Thank you, Richie. Doesn't that mean I have a heel turn coming? Typically, the facial hair stuff means that when you grow out a beard on WWE television or just wrestling in general, typically that means you're going heel. I am not going heel. I'm here for you guys, but don't be surprised if I bring a chair and I give a chair shot to someone one of these days. I don't know. It could be inevitable. That could be the subtle Triple H heel turn hint that I'm going heel at some point in the near future. Daniel said, Ice Cube O'Shea Jackson. Ice Cube's son, that is. Ice Cube Jr., you said, yeah. Tried to show that clip of Roman saying yeet as proof that he apologized. I didn't see that. I'm like, this is the same gaslighting that the Roman character does. LOL. That is called coping, my friend. That is called coping. I think O'Shea has a lot of good opinions. I'm happy he's a fan. People try to like shit on the guy like, oh, the fuck could you believe this? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, his opinions I don't necessarily agree with. I don't follow the guy. But I'm just happy he's a fan. He speaks out about the product. He shits on what he likes, or hopefully not. He shits on what he doesn't like, likes what he likes, praises what he likes. That I disagree with, though. Roman saying yeet to Jay, to me, like I said earlier, was indicative of Roman acknowledging Jey Uso's success as World Heavyweight Champion or his path to becoming World Heavyweight Champion. That does not mean I'm sorry. I wish saying yeet meant I'm sorry. Imagine in any situation, it could be, stopping someone or fucking cutting someone off in traffic or just flat out stealing from someone or murder or whatever. You just said yeet and it's like, okay, they felt bad. That's what that means. That's not what that means. And that was not the same thing. So I agree with you, Daniel. I don't even like using the word gaslighting. I think that's a stupid word. But if there was any situation to use that in, that would be it. Fernando said, does Finn Balor still have a chance to be world champion later down the road, or will he be kept at where he's at on the card? Good question. I think we talked about this last week. He does have a chance to become world champion. After what we saw with him in Punk. Now, granted, this is not the first time we've seen him in the world title picture in recent years. He challenged for the title at Saturday night's main event in late 2024 when he was feuding with Damian Priest. He challenged for the championship against Seth Rollins back in 2023. He's gone for the top title before, and he lost every time. In 2018, he challenged for the championship, 2019 against Brock. Like, he's gone for the fucking world title many, many times since losing it a decade ago. But only during the Punk feud was I like, you know what? They really might have him finish this story. Not during that feud, but like at some point down the road, I could see them giving him like a token title run that he was robbed of a decade ago. I don't know if it would be at SummerSlam, which is where he won it the first time, or I mean, it's not going to be in 5 years from now. The guy's already 45. I mean, we can't wait much longer. But I don't think it's impossible. I don't. Do I think it will happen? If I had to take a guess, the answer is no. I think they would probably, I think this is the peak of his push. Him going babyface and feuding with Dom. After that, I really don't know what they would do with him or how well they would push him on the card and whatever. He would probably just settle back into the spot that he was in before, just as a babyface. I hate to say it, but it's true. They've always just seen him at that level. Triple H probably would have made him more of a main eventer if he was in charge a decade ago, but the timing, just by the time Triple H took over, he was kind of damaged goods. They could still use him. It's like the same thing with Nakamura, where if like Triple H was in charge a decade ago, those guys would have had, in my opinion, probably sustainable world title runs. But because Triple H took over so late, it's like, we're kind of beyond that. It's not impossible. I just don't see it happening. Nike fan, what's going on, brother? $5 Tuesday. What are we watching today? Nothing today, actually. I got to go to a graduation actually later. But that being said, I got to go to a graduation later. Last week we went to $5 Tuesday and we saw Scream 7. I actually did not hate it. I heard from everyone, including you guys in the chat, saying it was garbage. I'm not saying I disagree. I mean, I do disagree, but like, I'm not saying, oh, what are you talking about? That was cinema. I had my issues with the movie. I didn't think it was like the worst Scream movie I've honestly ever even seen. I thought 5 was worse. I enjoyed 5 less. 5 was just dumb. I enjoyed 6 a lot. 7 was okay. I thought 6, I enjoyed the movie. It was fine. If you thought it was awful, that's fine too. I didn't hate the movie. I honestly did not. So we're not seeing a movie today, but my current plan is that Alexis and I will see Hoppers on Thursday. That could change, but we might go see it on Thursday night. We didn't have a chance to go see it over the weekend. We were busy, but I would like to see it as soon as possible. I heard it was really good, and I was looking forward to seeing it anyway, so... it looks funny, and I like Pixar, so we're going to see that probably on Thursday. Not for $5, but we do have a gift card to a movie theater that is nearby. Yeah, Trevor and his triple single BS. Yeah, fuck him. Let me back up. Hold on. A lot of comments. I appreciate all you guys chatting in. Nike Fan 01 said, what if we get Finn Balor, Rhea, and Priest versus Dom, Liv, and JD? That's not impossible. That's not a bad idea, but what would that be, like a backlash match? Priest getting involved in that would not surprise me because he's got fuck all going on right now. I know he and R-Truth became the number 1 contenders to the tag titles. Okay, whatever. Rhea feels so much bigger than all of that shit. Like, she's not on Raw. I don't know where she is, like, officially assigned to brand-wise. But, like, now that she's feuding with Jade, I guess if she loses to Jade, she could go back to doing the stuff with Liv. I wouldn't do that necessarily. But yeah, maybe. It's not impossible. It is a bummer that we don't have Edge anymore. If Edge was still around, Edge, Rhea, and Priest versus like Finn, JD, or Dom, and Liv, like old Judgment Day versus new Judgment Day, I think that'd actually be pretty cool. That's not going to happen. How cool would it have been to see Bray and Danhausen team up? I don't know if it would have been cool. I feel like Bray, he's not a comedy guy. So I don't think he would have been, I think he would have been like, hey, I'm not fucking doing that shit. Bray never did comedy. I don't think, from what I can recall. So I don't think they would have ever interacted. But the Fiend getting cursed by Danhausen, if we even had the Fiend on TV at this point, would have been interesting. Fernando said, how does Grant feel about the impressive return of Jason Tatum over the weekend, and are the Celtics the new favorites in the East? Yeah, I think they are. Grant told me that he believes so, and he said, watch out East, watch out East. James Harden's still doing well at the Cavs, so hey, listen, I'm still a Cavs guy. I love me some Phoenix Suns, Celtics. I'm Boston strong. I went to school in that area. But Jason Tatum, hey, listen, the Celtics are... watch out East indeed. They're on their way back. They're blue chippers. At least that's what Grant told me. Richie said, Roman Reigns technically still has fucking botching here, still has only one ally left that everyone seems to forget about, which is probably why he hasn't apologized. That ally is his cousin, Bon Quivi. Yeah, Bon Quivi is extremely forgiving. I forgot about Bon Quivi. I don't really want him on the show on Thursday. I feel like he'd be too pro Roman Reigns for my taste. But yeah, can't forget about Bon Quivi. Love Ziggler's also an option as well, as far as Roman Reigns allies. But yeah, Bon Quibi would be number one. Roman has so many cousins. I completely forgot about Bon Quibi. Thank you, Richie, for bringing that up. Daniel said, do you buy Cody drop the belt to avoid the Roman rematch? I did see that said. I could buy it. Do I think that's the case? No, I don't. I don't buy that. I think they genuinely did change plans. And I'll take these plans. Hey, listen, as much of an issue as I have with Cody getting the belt back, and I'll talk about it more on Thursday. I mean, someone asked a question about it today, so I'll talk about it later. As much of an issue as I have with that, it's better than Roman and Cody. A Mania. That would have been just fucking awful. I mean, at this point in time, Roman and Cody 3, now's not the time for it. That just would not interest me at all. I would rather have Cody and Roman, or Cody and Randy, and then Punk and Roman. I feel like that's the better card compared to what we could have gotten. And I think there was also a universe where it was like Rollins and Roman, and then like Punk and Cody. That also would have been great, but that kind of got fucked up because of injuries. Nike fan said, listen, I like McIntyre. He's a great wrestler, very great on the mic. I don't have a problem with Cody winning. Drew is a loser before he won the belt. He lost so many fields this year after... So many fields, what does that mean? Year after year, who cares? I mean, I care because they did put the belt on him. I do think he should have walked into Mania as champion. But he already was. I mean, he lost so many fucking times to Cody. This is just... It's not surprising. Let's put it that way. It's not like the end of the world. It was annoying, but it's not a Cody issue. It's more of like... They should, at that point, they should have just... I mean, does Cody really need the fucking belt at this point? I mean, he doesn't. I mean, they could have... I'm glad they took the belt off him at all. That's better. But I still think he should have held it till Mania. You were so close. He said, Cody versus Orton is the better match for Mania 42. It's about selling tickets, and we've been waiting for this match for years. These fans think turning Cody heel will be good, but Triple H botched New Day's heel turn. Again, a lot to dissect there. I don't think Cody's heel turn, I think, will be great because Cody, the New Day's heel turn was amazing. Their actual heel run was very underwhelming. Triple H fucked that up. I agree. He fucked up John Cena's heel run as well. Do I think he would fuck up Cody's heel run? Maybe I'm being optimistic. I don't think so because it's been in the making for so long. So was Cena's, but Cena should have never been a heel for his final year. That was dumb. I would not turn Cody right now. I'm not among those that saying that Cody should go heel for the match or at Mania. I would turn Orton before I turn Cody. Now, would they cheer for Randy over Cody? Probably, honestly. But I would still wait on turning Cody. We will see it. We will see it. We may even see it by SummerSlam. In this scenario, I would turn Orton. To me, I feel like that would be the better story. And also, with all the times they've teased Orton going heel, and he's been like hesitant to pull the trigger, and that's why he lost to Cody before, I would turn Orton heel. To me, that makes more sense. You said Orton and Cody is the better match for Mania. Then what? You know, what are you talking about? Orton and Drew? Yeah, of course, I agree with that. Orton and Drew, I don't give a shit. We've seen that a million times. I think the four-way would have been the better match. I disagree. Cody and Orton is a marquee match. It doesn't really benefit anyone. Not that it has to, but like we already have Punk and Roman. That doesn't benefit anyone. I mean, that's a match we've never really seen before one-on-one. We saw it once, like over a decade ago. Massive match. But I feel like it would also be nice to have a match at Mania for a world title that involved a fresher face. Cody is fresher than any of these people, but even he's been to the world title scene now for like 2 or 3 years. It would have been nice. I mean, you can have Cody in the match, but to me, with the story they've told in the last 2 or 3 months, a 4-way would have been the way to go. Now, I would not have said that in December. If you told me Cody and Randy was the Mania match, I'd be like, fuck yeah, that makes sense. I'm still saying that I like that match. The problem is you got people so geared up for a 4-way, and then you fucking pivoted again. Again! It's like, I just don't really know if they know what they're doing on Fridays. I don't know if they really know what they're doing at all, generally speaking, but it feels like they didn't really know what the fuck they wanted to do. They were going to do Cody, Roman. That I genuinely believe that was the plan at one point. And then they pivoted. They were going to do Cody, Roman, and then Cody, Drew, and then maybe a 4-way. But let's do Cody, Randy. Now, could they have been swerving us this whole time and they had Cody and Randy planned from the beginning? Maybe. I don't buy that shit. Based on me watching the fucking show, I don't buy that for a second. It's just all over the place. Fernando said, I think the fans are going to turn on Cody over this latest title reign. I think there's a decent chance that he will get booed in the coming weeks. And it's not Cody's fault. I mean, it might be. I don't know. But I mean, as far as like Cody himself is awesome. I think they can avoid the backlash if they didn't do what they fucking did. Yeah, people were like, oh, they popped. Yeah, no shit they popped. They saw the fucking title change hands in person. Of course they fucking popped. I'm talking about the aftermath. If he gets cheered on Friday, I hope he does. I hope Cody doesn't get booed. The problem here is with the booking, not with Cody. And people, you could say he's uninteresting. I mean, that's a fine, perfectly acceptable opinion to have. I would not do that. Like, I don't know. I think he's interesting enough to where he works in this role. But the way they book Cody is a problem to me. I'll be writing more about that for Bleacher in the next couple days. Hold on. Nike said, heel turn and most importantly, John Cena. Do we really trust Triple H to book Cody Rhodes as a good heel? I mean, it's not a guarantee. I do think there's a better chance he would book Cody better as a heel than the other people, because the New Day, it was all about the moment. Honestly, I think the New Day heel turn was more so their idea. They kind of had to be forced kicking and screaming into going, WWE had to be forced kicking and screaming going into that development. That whole story was entirely a New Day thing. They were never, I mean, I thought they would, stupid me. I thought they would follow up on that and it would be this great story. And it's also tough too, because Big E was never coming back. Like, he might still, but like that was never the plan when they did the heel turn. That also kind of hurt the story too. There was never any end game to it. And they also don't give a fuck about the tag, on Raw specifically, SmackDown also. But Raw, really, for a long time, they have never really given a fuck about the tag team division. It was all about the moment. They never put any thought into the aftermath. The Cena one was just dumb. Like, to see Cena as a heel was interesting at first, but the execution was so bad, and that also fell on Cena, because Cena's promos were just fucking awful. That wasn't entirely Triple H's fault. The booking was his fault. The execution of the promos was also Cena's fault. He should have spoke up and said, nah, this doesn't work. This is bad. But he didn't. And for his final year, he should have been a babyface. I said that initially, and I say that now. On Quivi Fatu. Yeah, exactly. Nike fan, because I don't. As far as would he really trust Triple H to book Cody Rhodes as a good heel? I'm not saying I trust him, but I think there's a better chance of that than with, than with Cena's or New Day's or whatever. Nike fan said, should WWE build Cody versus Orton? And yes, Alexis, I will read the message after we're done here. She said, nothing bad, but I'm taken aback. Nike fan said, should WWE build Cody versus Orton similar to Cena HBK Mania 23? Winning the tag belts and all of that. That's not interesting. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't interesting in 07, but like, Cody and Orton have so much history. I need some real shit talking. The whole, can they coexist? And are they friends? I mean, they are friends. In storyline, they're friends. I get it. I understand why you would say that. First of all, it's a waste of the tag titles, because they're going to have to fucking lose them soon after. I mean, it's not like Cena and Shawn ever really benefited the tag team division in 2007. They won the belts, barely defended them, and then lost them like right after, like the day or two after Mania. So I would not do that. I think that's lazy. I think there's better ways to tell the story between Cody and Randy than having them play buddy-buddy and win the tag titles. Maybe giving Cody his own version of Legacy with Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, and eventually adding Cardona. Cody having his own faction is interesting. It can't be Legacy, though, if it's not second-generation talent. The MFTs might be more of a Legacy. I mean, the fucking NXT faction, Birthright, that's Legacy. Because that's the whole point of Legacy with Randy was that Cody, Ted, and Randy were all second-generation or third-generation stars. None of the people you mentioned, except for Cody, are Legacy. It would have to be a different group. Now, a group with Cody and all of those guys, honestly, I don't mind that. I mean, that sounds like mid-card Mania. I like Ricky, I like Ethan, I like Cardona. None of those guys really, I mean, they all kind of seem too similar. Like, you would need a bigger guy, like a Wardlow. Not Wardlow himself necessarily, but you would need someone like that, I would say, in the group. On paper, I don't mind that. You would just need to kind of fine-tune the details. Did you see the Mania 31 painting on WWE Shop with Seth, Brock, Roman? It's fire. Check it out. I have not seen it. I'll have to check it out. Mania 31 is one of my favorite Manias, so I'm sure it's expensive, so I won't buy it. But any Mania 31 merch, I would have to, that does pique my interest. Fernando said, everyone loved Cena in the beginning of his first world title run, but when it was Cena winning titles all the time, when it was a matter of that, when all he got was booze. Yeah, Cena was not booked. I mean, obviously he was booked like a star, but Cena's booking was so fucking formulaic, and we're kind of getting to that spot with Cody where like he wins it, loses it, gets it right back from that same person. They did it once with Cena and it made sense. Doing that with Drew, I think, is kind of fucking overkill. I mean, had they done it at a different time, I would have been less mad at it. I'm not like angry, but it's just like, they could have done it better. Jeremy, what's going on? Penta versus OG, Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans versus Kofi versus LA Knight ladder match. IC title at WrestleMania. You know what? I don't mind that. It's a lot of baby faces, but I don't mind it. The Americano shit is so fucking garbage. I'm glad, hopefully, just get it over with. You know, just get it the fuck over with. If they put them at Mania, okay, whatever. That's fine. Javon should be at Mania. I agree with that. Kofi, at this point, doesn't really matter to me. He's gotten enough Mania moments. LA Knight should be. I like the match. The only problem with it is, like, how many multi-man matches are we getting at Mania? You know, I think we're getting a multi-team match for the women's tag titles. Okay, that's fine. Are we getting other triple threats and other four-ways? You got to limit that shit. But that match on paper sounds fine. Like, could we get the same match for the U.S. title too? Like, that just feels lazy to me. Like, give me an actual story. But on paper, I don't have an issue with it. Daniel said, when did Jay and LA Knight stop hating on each other to be able to team up yesterday? They never explained it. Great question. I have no idea. They had an issue. They didn't have an issue. They had an issue again. They don't have an issue. It's just fucking exhausting. I don't know. I genuinely think these writing teams also do not know what they're, like, they just don't keep track. I don't know. Fernando said, Kiana James should win the Money in the Bank and cash in for a solid women's championship reign. I don't have any interest in that happening this year anyway, but, I mean, it's honestly, she's a front runner to win this year. Given how high they seemingly are on Kiana, I would not be shocked if she won Money in the Bank later this year. She already has a fucking briefcase or whatever. She could just put the briefcase or the contract in the purse that she holds around and carries around anyway. Do I think Randy should win the title? Yes. The idea of Cody retaining, I know he just got the belt back. It seems like a game of hot potato, but like, Randy winning would be something at least somewhat different. I know it's Randy fucking Orton, but like, he hasn't held the world title in almost a decade. I'm okay with that. And if that leads to one of them going heel, then more, that's all the more reason to do it. Maybe Cody retains and then Orton goes heel. That's fine too. I would just personally like to see Randy retain or win the title. Kit Wilson should win the U.S. title and hold it for a while. I mean, you joke, Fernando. So you said LOL. If Kit Wilson was over enough, I mean, he is like somewhat over. He's not on the show often enough. I wouldn't hate that. You said that he should be a world champion or something a week or two ago. That was a joke. But, I mean, him as the U.S. champion? I mean, that's not really all that out of the ordinary. He's not winning it from Carmelo, but, if they built him up enough, I could see it. Daniel said, I mean, I am in the minority, Graham. Oh, wait, different minority. That's funny. That is true. Did I see AJ Styles started a podcast called the Phenomenally Retro Podcast? I saw that he was talking on a podcast called the Phenomenally Retro Podcast. I thought it might have been someone else's podcast that he was on. But then I saw the title and I'm like, I guess he started his own podcast. He was already doing Twitch or something, so that's cool. That's cool. I have not listened to it. I haven't seen it, but I did see that he talked about his new role in WWE upon launching his podcast. Hashtag AskGSM. Yeah, the beard keeps growing. It might happen. Let's see. Let me backtrack. I was going to say, Alexis, Daniel is a minority. That is true. Nike said, do you think CM Punk turns heel on the lines with The Rock? You got me in the first half there, Nike. You did. CM Punk goes heel. I do see that happening at some point. Aligning with The Rock, no, at this point, that would just be stupid. That would make no sense. He'll turn on RJ for his lack of fades on the streams. So here, listen to this, guys. RJ actually he didn't get a fade, but he looks fresh. He got a haircut before I saw him on Saturday. So the problem is that he's not going to be around on Thursday to show off his fresh fade or show off his fresh haircut. That's the problem. That first fresh fade will never be topped, though, the one that he had late last year back in the summer. Fernando said, I have heard a few rumors that one of the first plans for Mania was Drew versus Cody in Hell in a Cell. I saw that too, and that would have been just awful. I mean, they already had a fucking 3 stages of Hell match. The fact they even had a rematch after that on SmackDown last week in a regular old match is just awful. That's just so lazy to me. Then don't even do 3 stages of Hell. Noob said, do you agree, or do you see Alexa Bliss facing Julia for the Women's United States Championship in Mania 42? Because Julia has been constantly losing to Alexa Bliss for the past several weeks. No, I don't think so. I mean, could they do a triple threat with her and Alexa in Charlotte? Yeah, that's possible. I think Julia ends up in a match with Tiffany. I mean, they're teasing Tiffany and Chelsea, but like that one-on-one is not a Mania match. I don't think it's Julia Alexa one-on-one. Because if you do that one-on-one, then you're missing. What does Charlotte do? You know, it's like the same thing I said earlier about Bayley. If you have Alexa in a match that's not with Charlotte, Charlotte's not on the card. So I think it's Alexa and Charlotte in the tag team title picture. I think that's more likely. And Julia could face Tiffany. I think that's better odds of that happening, I think. What's your favorite wrestler dumping a faction moment? Top 5 babyface turns. I don't know. Those are good questions. I can't think off the top of my head. Favorite wrestler dumping a faction? You know, I mean, this one always stood out to me. It was 15 years ago, and it was a complete pivot because TNA fucked up, and they thought they had Booker T and Kevin Nash under contract, and they thought they were coming in. They didn't. They went to WWE instead. But anyway, yeah, so they had Fortune turn on Immortal at that point, and they had to pivot from Main Event Mafia coming in. So they did one of those groups turning instead or whatever. AJ Styles turning on Immortal I thought was great. Yeah, so I thought that was a great moment. And Alexis said that she thought I would say the Shield or NWO. I mean, NWO never really had a wrestler turning on faction moment, you know. The Shield might be the best in my lifetime since I started watching in 08. I hated the Shield breakup so fucking much. Like, that's how you know they did their job. Like, kayfabe, from in a real life standpoint, I thought, man, they're creating new stars. That's great. But as a fan, I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, Seth Rollins. Why the fuck would you do that? You know, I was pissed. It was on my birthday too, so I was not happy. Babyface turns, I'm not sure. Babyface turns are hard to kind of come by. Richie said, I'm a huge fan of the core. Yeah, the core, I will admit, I did not hate initially, and then it turned out to be an absolute waste of time. King, what's going on? Do you see the Usos screwing Roman at Mania? I can genuinely see that happening. I don't see that happening. Could it happen? Yeah, maybe. Like they teased turning on Punk, but instead they join. I mean, is that a faction with Punk and the Usos? I don't need to see that. Maybe. I don't need to see the Usos go heel, but it's possible. I mean, I don't really think that's out of the ordinary, given all the stuff they teased with like Roman not apologizing and all that other shit. Nathaniel said, the Edge Judgment Day was my favorite, but I still like Finn. I hated Edge getting bumped from the Judgment Day. I thought that was so fucking random, and it was. I mean, they had to pivot because Cody got hurt, so they needed more baby faces. They turned to Edge babyface. I fucking hated that because I actually liked Edge in the Judgment Day. Now, a lot of people did not, and that's fine. I enjoyed it, and then they just pulled the plug right as they were getting going. It very much annoyed me. And it was so random, too. Like, they were winning matches, and they had no reason to exile Edge from the group. Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy were comedy. Yeah, I guess you're right. They weren't straight up comedy like Danhausen is. Woken Matt Hardy was not straight up comedy like Danhausen is. It was more comedy than what Bray was used to, but it wasn't like complete comedy like fucking Danhausen. Yeah, Alexis said the same thing. People buying dislikes for Cody winning is next level. I did see that. I don't know if I believe that. I saw what the guy said. Can you even fucking do that? You can buy 65,000 dislikes. I know you can buy followers and shit. You can buy likes or dislikes. I think people just genuinely did not like the video because they didn't like Cody winning the belt back. I don't think the guy bought, even if he did, what a loser. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a loser behavior to do that sort of shit. Eric said, I think it's going to be 6 teams ladder match with the Irresistible Forces, Kabuki Warriors, Bayley Lyra for the tag titles, he's saying. Bellas, Charlotte, and Alexa, and Ren QCC from NXT. Well, that would be fucking random. But I do like them as a team, so, I mean, whatever. Hey, why not, right? Just throw them all in the fucking match. Fernando, what about Punk bringing back the Straight Edge Society to offset the Bloodline if they do reform? You know, I love the Straight Edge Society. It would not be the original group. Luke Gallows is not being brought back for like a 3rd or 4th time to be in a Punk group. Serena Deeb, I don't know where the fuck she's been, but she's still in AEW, I think. And then Joey Mercury fell off the face of the earth. So I don't see them doing that. A new version of Straight Edge Society? You know, honestly, I wouldn't hate that if they did it right. Would it be as well done as it was in 2010? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not a terrible idea, though. Not a bad idea. Would Cody be Homelander Cody when he turns heel eventually? I hope so. I can't confirm that he will be, but I hope so. That to me makes the most sense. Hold on. Yeah, Alexis really wants Cody heel. I agree. I want Cody heel too. It's got to be the right time. To me, it's got to be like, this makes sense. It doesn't make sense right now. I think with him and Orton should be heel. I think Cody is still the guy. Here's another thing people have to remember too. And I've said this a lot. I said this last summer when people were going nuts. Oh, double turn, Cena heel, with a turn Cena babyface, turn Cody heel, all this other shit. People can't be so short-sighted. You got to replace Cody with someone who is ready to be in that spot. Who is ready to be in that spot? Who is the guy? Cody's only been in that spot for like 2 years, maybe 3. It's still too soon. Now, can you turn him heel and then turn him back babyface a little while later? Of course, you did that with Roman. But with Roman, when they turned him heel, they were building up Drew to be the guy. He was already kind of solidified as the guy when he won the title earlier that year. And they had a few other people in that spot as well. You turn Cody heel, who the fuck do you have? Randy Orton? Randy Orton's not the answer. Obafemi, he's not the guy. It's probably too soon anyway. Javon Trick, they're all great. They're not the guy. At least not yet. And I don't think it would happen anytime soon anyway. LA Knight, he's not the guy. They're never going to push him as the guy. Jey Uso's obviously not the fucking guy. Who else is... Jacob Fatu is great. I think Jacob Fatu is excellent. Sami Zayn's not the guy. Fatu is probably the closest they have, but he's not someone you build the company around. He's not going to be out there doing all the media and Make-A-Wish stuff and all that other shit that Cody does. He's great. Fatu is amazing as a person and in the ring and stuff. I just don't see them pushing him at that level. At least not right now. I just don't. So I just can't get over the fact that you don't turn Cody until you have a plan. It sounds sexy like, oh, heel Cody. Woohoo, we got what we wanted. Okay, then what? What happens the Monday after Mania? The month after Mania? 2 months after Mania? You don't have an answer. Drew's not the guy. Punk's old. Roman's not that guy. Rollins isn't the guy. Like, they're all older. Like, none of these people make sense to be in that spot. Cody makes sense to be in that spot. At least for a little while longer. When you have his replacement, his successor, hopefully not in the next 5, it doesn't take fucking 5 years to get there. I'm not saying wait 10 years to turn Cody heel or never turn him heel. They should. Maybe in 6 months. But now doesn't feel like the right time, and they don't have a proper babyface to build that show around in his absence. It could be Fatu. I hope it will be. But to me, even putting that aside, I just don't think the timing makes sense right now. At least on March 10th, 2026. I could feel differently in a month. But today, I just don't think it makes sense. Maybe they'll convince me otherwise. I don't know. We'll see. I'm tired of seeing Penta against El Grande Americano. Me and you both, brother. Who gives a fuck at this point? Penta's been working with the same 3 people. Kaiser, Gable/Americano, and Dom for like a fucking year. Have him work with other people, please. I'm glad he's the champion, but my God. Switch it up. Fernando said, I don't know if you know this or not, Mania was hosted by multiple cities. Should they do that again in modern times? No. I know they did it for Mania 2. It was a logistical mess. It was not a great Mania. I've heard horror stories about that. I mean, even WWE's talked about that in that Mania 9 doc. Like, Mania 1 was so big, they wanted to switch it. I mean, it was nice to try, but they talked about how fucking awful that whole experiment was. It would not work. And I've said this before, like, people have said, oh, well, they want their Saudi Mania. What if they do Saudi Mania one night and then Mania in the States the next night? That's not going to work, man. They need to have certain people, like, in both places. And you're not going to fly people back and forth. That's just not going to work. That was never going to work. So, no, I would not do that again. I think that'd be silly. It's in Saudi as it is. They're not doing 2 nights. They're doing 2 nights, but not one here, one there. It's just a logistical nightmare. Nike said, how would you feel about this booking of the IC title? Penta to Sheamus, Sheamus to Oba. Oba goes on to shatter Gunther's IC title reign. Then when he competes for his first world heavyweight title, and it's title for title. Make Oba dual champ. I'm kind of indifferent towards that. I'm in the middle. Penta losing it to Sheamus is interesting. I don't see that happening. I think when Sheamus eventually wins it, I think he wins it from a heel. Penta's not a heel. Now, could you turn Sheamus heel? Sure, but I think Sheamus is over enough. I think he's just keep him as a babyface. I mean, I guess if you're having Sheamus lose it to Oba and Oba's not turning heel, then Sheamus would have to be a heel. That's fine. I guess you could. I don't know. I would keep Sheamus babyface personally. So that's one issue. And then with the Oba thing, why would Oba need to shatter Gunther's run? Gunther was champion for almost 2 years. Genuinely, if Oba is not a world champion in 2 years, Triple H should be his booking license should be revoked. The guy can be world champion well before that. I think he should be. We don't need to have him waste time in the mid-card for 2 years. Gunther was ready when he got called up too, but with Gunther, I mean, he really restored prestige to that title. You don't need to do the same thing with Oba. Oba had a long enough run in NXT, with the North American title and the NXT title and all that other shit. I wouldn't do that. Dual champ, again, what is that? I mean, it's nice, but like we see that shit all the time, man. With the men and the women these days, it's not special anymore. We see it in NXT so much. We see it in the main roster so much. We see it in AEW so much. It's not special. So I'm going to say no. Overall, not a bad booking plan, but I don't really like I like maybe half of what you said. Jeremy, what's going on? He said, or he already commented earlier, but what's going on again, Jeremy? He said Kaiser needs the El Grande Americano gimmick way more than Gable because he's been more over as Grande than as Kaiser, especially in Mexico. I disagree. I agree and I disagree. He needs it more than Gable. That's correct. Does he need to be Grande? No. If you want to relegate that shit to Mexico, okay, whatever. He's played the role well. I disagree, though, that he needs it. Kaiser on his own was fucking great, man. I know a lot of people that are not hardcore wrestling fans that have said they love Kaiser because he's a character. Like the way he kind of carries himself and walks and talks, and his matches are good. They never really explored the story with him and Gunther, like Gunther abusing him and teasing tension. They could have had something there, and then they just completely moved away from it. I don't think either of them should be Grande. The whole Grande thing to me is garbage. I would just dump the whole shit. I know you want to keep it over in AAA and shit, but it's not like AAA's business is dependent on El Grande fucking Americano. Nathaniel said, would you like a triple threat for the IC women's title? Becky, AJ, Bailey with Jessica as the ref? That would be funny. Not really. I already mentioned AJ, Becky, and Bailey. I don't think so. As the match, it would be fine, but like, Jess is the ref. We got to get to the next stage of this. Is Becky going to face her or what? Jeremy said, I'd much rather see Drew versus Nick Aldis at Mania over Drew and Fatu. I think, I want to see Nick Aldis in the ring. I don't disagree with that. The problem is with that, what do you do with Fatu? If you put Fatu in the WWE title match and have Drew face Nick, I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. I said that on Twitter last week. I'm okay with that. I don't think that's going to happen, though. You don't have Jacob cost Drew the belt, and then Jacob goes on a challenge for the title, and Drew doesn't. That would be weird. Based on what happened on SmackDown last week. Do you think it will ever be revealed who took out Jacob months ago? No, I of course. They're going to reveal. I mean, I say of course, but there's a lot of things they don't reveal. Yes, I do think they will get to it. I think they'll just say it was Drew, which is so fucking lazy because Drew is like, he's a great, credible character where he has said it wasn't me. So then it ends up being him. That's so lame and disappointing and underwhelming, It really should have been Cody or Randy. If it was Cody, Cody would have to go heel, obviously. Randy, to me, would make the most sense because he should go heel anyway. But how do you do that now that, does Fatu beat Drew and then you do the reveal after Mania? Would people even remember at that point? I guess. I don't know. But then you could do Orton and Fatu coming out of Mania with Orton as the heel. Yeah, honestly, if Orton wins the belt, it should be Fatu taking it from him, babyface or not. Whether Orton's a babyface or not, I would have Fatu win the belt by the end of the year. Well before that, but just saying. Nike ranked his favorite factions breaking up, but he said the Shield, the Bloodline, honestly, you know what? Probably the Bloodline. I was there for when Sami Zayn turned on the Bloodline. That was an amazing moment. And the whole story they told there was phenomenal. I would probably go number one, the Bloodline, for my favorite anyway. Evolutions is great. I wasn't watching at the time, but obviously that's a great one from 2004. Undisputed Era. That one was shocking from 2021. And Rated RKO. Did they actually have a real breakup, though? They broke up in 2020. If that's what you're talking about. But like in 2007, they never really had a breakup. You said the Hurt Business. And again, when did the Hurt Business ever really break up? That shit was terrible. The Hurt Business breaking up in 2021 or whatever it was garbage. That would come nowhere near my top 5. Fernando said, I enjoyed your rankings of the worst WWE matches. I know it was before your time, but Jake Roberts versus the model Rick Martel in a blindfold match at Mania, it was trash. I've seen the match. It was before my time. You're right. I have seen the match. I don't think that was on the list. If it was, I would have ranked it. The blindfold match, I've seen the match before. It's not good. I mean, I appreciate the uniqueness of stipulation, but yeah, not a great... Blindfold matches in general really are not that good, but I know what match you're talking about. It was not great. Grunt said it could have been Sammy if he had a better 2024-2025. I disagree. If you're talking about he could have been the guy, Sammy to me is not the guy. He's just not. I think even if Sammy had a better year or two in the last couple of years, Sammy isn't under... Brother, people are already fucking sick of Sammy, and he hasn't even won the title yet. You know what I mean? Like, he will win the title, and he's more of the guy than Jay. If we were to rank this shit, Sammy would be over Jay, no doubt. He's a much better, more complete performer than Jay. But he's similar to Jay in that they're two great underdogs. Underdogs do not make for great guys as like the guy. I feel like I'm in fucking Spy Kids 3. It's the guy. But no, like with Sammy, like he's a great fighting from underneath guy. You don't keep a belt on a guy like that for like 6 to 12 months. Not that Cody's run should always be a year long. I'm just saying I don't know. I never saw Sammy in that spot. Could Sammy be a perennial main eventer? Yes. Can he be the guy they build the whole company around? No. I've never thought that. He should absolutely be world champion. I still think he will be world champion, but he's not Cody. Cody is more well-rounded as far as better politician, better with media, better with everything, really. Sammy's amazing. Cody's better as far as that sort of stuff goes. Better all-around package as far as being a company or a guy that you build your company around. What is your prediction for the two teams to play in the NBA Finals? You're going to have to ask Grant Matthews that question. Nike fan said, can Johnny Gargano come back and be on the level of Daniel Bryan for this generation, or is it too late? And should he pack it up and join Ciampa in AEW? I think there's somewhere in the middle. He's not going to be... It's too late for him to be the Daniel Bryan of this generation. I mean, he's been at a certain level for so long. That's just not going to happen. Should he pack it up and go to AEW? I don't think he has to. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, in WWE, what is his ceiling at this point? You know, he's on his own, which is great. He got beat by fucking Obafemi in 2 minutes on Friday. But what's his ceiling? I think him in the mid-card would be great. I think you can really... There is a chance to get the babyface Gargano of NXT. I don't think that guy is dead and gone. I think he's still in there somewhere. I think Gargano is great, but they have also so much more talent now than they did a decade ago. It's going to be a lot harder for him to get that sort of push. He's not going to be the guy or win a world title. We're far beyond that for Gargano at this point. But he can still have success as a mid-card guy if they push him at that level. Now, if he continues to be booked like shit for the next 6 months where he's just a fucking loser, then yes, I would say go to AEW. I'm not confident in saying that quite yet. We're not just at that point yet, but we are inching closer to it. Do I hope for a Scream 8? No. Please just end it and move on. They will make an 8th one because the seventh one made money. There's just no reason to keep making those movies. Fernando said, there is several reports out there that they might do a double turn similar to Austin versus Brett at Mania with Sammy and Trick. Do you agree with this potential decision? No, I don't. For a couple reasons. I mean, turning Sammy heel is not an awful decision. I don't mind that so much, just given his character arc and his trajectory. I don't mind that. Code Black, I mean, he's always popping up talking about God. Thank you, Code. Thank you for jumping in. I appreciate it. But anyway, with Trick, it's too soon to turn him babyface. They need fucking heels. They need credible heels. You don't turn Trick babyface right now. He's also an amazing asshole. I would not turn him babyface. Sammy, I wouldn't mind if they did it properly. Trick, I would not turn. Grunt said Seth and the Putty Patrol was pretty amusing to watch on social media. I also saw you call a Putty Patrol Grunt in Solomonster's live stream last night. You made the same comment yesterday. But you're not wrong. That segment I thought was trash. I was not a fan at all. I don't even really get the Putty Patrol reference, but I can imagine what it would mean. And the goofy, like, oh, we're jumping around. Where's the masked man? Blah, 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 blah. Like, that was stupid. That was dumb as fuck. Have I seen FNAF 2? Yes, we saw it back in December. Alexis loves FNAF. So, I enjoyed the movie. I think it was probably better than the first one, to be honest. What's my favorite ghost face reveal and your most hated ghost face reveal? Grunt said Grande is garbage. Well said. It is. I mean, in my opinion, anyway. It's just I think the whole Grande shit sucks. Favorite ghost face reveal? I haven't seen Scream 2 through 4. I tried watching 4 and I didn't like it. I turned it off at the time. I think the first Scream will always be the best one. It's not even close. Best ghost face reveal would be the double ghost face reveal from the first one. Worst? I hated the 5th movie, so probably, I don't know, I don't even remember. I mean, probably any ghost face reveal in that movie. It didn't make any sense. It was stupid. Probably any of those. Nike said Becky and AJ Bailey IC title at Mania 42, I think is the match. I don't think so, guys. I don't think. I mean, I would as a match, it's fine, but what do you do with Lyra? Does Lyra not make the card? I don't feel like that's fair. I saw Kaiser as a future heel world champion before this Grande Americano garbage. I did not see him as a future world champion, but I did think he could have been an intercontinental champion. He could still be. The Grande stuff in the States sucks. In Mexico, cool. In the States, it's awful. He plays the role really well, but it's gone on for so fucking long, we got to move on. Nike, could the Danhausen curse have an opposite effect, like it takes Kit Williams from a jobber to winner? Or is it always bad? And if he's cursed the whole roster, what's left? That's it's a good question. His curse has not always been, I think it always has been bad, but hey, listen, here's the thing what I find funny. He cursed Miz on SmackDown, and I saw someone say, it might have been Wrestling News Co., does this mean he's going to start winning matches about The Miz? Which I thought was pretty fucking funny. Because how much, could you really curse Miz? Can it get any worse for him aside from getting fired, to be honest with you? The answer is no. So, yeah, maybe Miz starts winning matches because Danhausen cursed him. That would be fucking funny if they did that. Jeremy said, I feel like we might get Gargano paired up with heel Motor City Machine Guns. I'd be fine with that. It's something different. None of those guys are doing anything right now, so I would be okay with that. Code Black said, I miss happy-go-lucky, clean-cut, short hair Sammy. He doesn't even present himself as a top guy. I mean, Sammy looking the way that he does, that doesn't really bother me. I'm not like, oh, he's got to wear a fucking suit. Like, that doesn't bother me. I will say, though, I like short hair Sammy more. I enjoyed short hair Sammy from NXT more. It's the look. The look itself I thought was better in NXT. I agree with that. What are we doing at LA Knight at Mania? I can't find a spot for him. Me either. Unless he's challenging for the IC title, I genuinely have no fucking clue what he does. I mean, the Usos are facing the Vision. I mean, does LA Knight face Rollins, even though he's kind of a babyface? I don't know. I have no idea. I think Royce Keys was the masked man out in the masked man outfit for Seth last night. Well, that would be a waste of Royce Keys. I heard he was on the main event taping, so I'm going to say that wasn't him, but it could have been. I don't know. Code Black said, I can't stand Cody as a wrestler, but at least he looks like someone you would want to push. He presents himself very well. I said he overall has the better overall package as the guy. He just kind of completes that criteria to me in WWE. Do I think they should make a FNAF 3? Yes, and I think they are. I read the report yesterday that they were already working on it with different writers, which was interesting, but I don't know if it'll be good. But the first two were decent. I think there's more room to explore there with future sequels. So, yeah, they should make a third one. Nike said also, am I the only one who is worried that since Royce Keys isn't getting any in-ring reps, that his debut singles match on TV, he might get injured? You're wrong, actually, Nike. He is getting in-ring reps, not on television, but he's working either the main event tapings or the dark matches every fucking week. So it's not like he's not. I mean, if he wasn't wrestling at all, I would probably agree with you. But he is wrestling. We just don't see him on television. I know someone that was there last night that told me he worked the dark match. What do I think Eric Young's legacy will be, Mario said. I answered this question already, I think like a week or two ago. But his legacy will be a TNA original. I mean, talk about the guy. Eric Young was never the fucking guy. He won the TNA title twice. He's won every title like a million times. He's a TNA lifer. He's gone to WWE, done some other shit. And yes, Marios, I know exactly what I said. As soon as I said it, I knew what I said. What did I just say about Cody Rhodes' package? I know what I said. I know what I said. But anyway, Eric Young is a TNA guy. He always will be. When I think of Eric Young, I think of TNA. Not even Impact, I think of TNA. Nike fan said, yeah, no, Lyra doesn't make the card. What has she done all year? What the fuck has Bayley done all year? You say, oh yeah, get Bayley on the show, but not Lyra. They're pretty much in the same spot, brother. You get Bayley on the show, you should put Lyra on the show. And also, what has she done all year? In 2026, nothing. But she did more in 2025 than Bayley ever has in the last 2 years. So, I mean, again, to me, I love Bayley, but they're in the same spot. Lyra actually has more of an upside than Bayley does because at least Lyra is younger, has only been around for a few years. Bayley has done pretty much everything. She's not fucking winning at Mania. So what's the point of putting Bayley in that match? As a match, it's good, but like it doesn't really benefit anyone. Unless it's a four-way with Lyra. But again, it goes back to how many fucking multi-person matches do we need? Where did they go wrong with Motor City Machine Guns? Just not putting them on TV. I mean, the first 6 to 8 months of their run was fine. I mean, they were on TV a lot from when they debuted through the Rumble. They were on the Mania, on the SmackDown after Mania, when that match was amazing. They were at SummerSlam, which was great. They have had fuck all for them to do since then. I have no idea what the fuck they're thinking. It's not even where did they go wrong with Motor City Machine Guns as much as where did they go wrong with the entire SmackDown tag team division, which was one of the best things in all of wrestling a year ago, and now it's nearly non-existent. Do I have a fat burger over there in your city? If so, check it out. In Connecticut, no. We are more so known for our pizza. The only I'll eat burgers anywhere here in Connecticut, but I'm more of a fucking fast food guy. Like I'll go to Five Guys or Way Back is good. I think that's more of a Northeast. I think it's a Connecticut thing, but Way Back is good. Five Guys is everywhere. I enjoy Red Robin, but those aren't exclusive to Connecticut. Grunt said, people getting sick of Sammy. Maybe Tony should do the WWE Universe a favor by getting him off their TV. Grunt just wants Sammy in AEW. He ain't going to at this point, I don't think he's going to AEW. I think we missed their window on that. I missed Grunt's comment on about Gargano. I got to backtrack. He said, I'm also indifferent on Gargano jumping over to AEW. If he does, cool. If not, it's fine. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I love Gargano. If he goes to AEW, great. Ciampa's had a really good run so far. Would they really have that same success with Gargano? I'm not convinced. And also, would they just team them back up as DIY? DIY is great. Them in AEW would be cool. I kind of want to see them do more. I want to see both guys excel in their respective companies on their own for a little while before we get another DIY reunion at this point. Code Black says The Miz is actually in a really great spot. He's at the point in his career where him losing doesn't even matter. He's in that Randy spot. That is so inherently wrong that it's not even funny. Miz's legacy has already been cemented, sure. But Code Black, listen, his legacy, whatever the fuck that is, has been cemented. He's a ginormous loser and has been for the last 5 to 10 years. And that's coming from someone who loves The Miz. The Miz is excellent in his role. But he has been booked like such a goddamn loser. The Miz, at this point, is channel-changing television. His team pairing with Hayes overall was a ginormous waste of time. Did nothing for Carmelo Hayes. Most of what Miz has been involved in the last 5 to 10 years has been straight up garbage. And I don't think that's Miz's fault. I don't think Miz is bad. But they book him like a loser. Like for every time they kind of get something going with him where he's interesting, like him and Gunther shit a few years ago, I thought that whole feud was great. That was a short feud. And that was a lot of fun. And then they just booked him the Austin Truth stuff was fine. But then he was a bum after that. He was teaming with the fucking Final Testament. Like, Miz is up. He's not in that Randy spot. Randy is a perennial main eventer. The Miz is a perennial fucking loser on this show. You see Miz, you know he's not winning. And you're right. Him losing doesn't matter because he's a fucking loser, so him winning doesn't really matter either. And wins and losses absolutely matter. How about the wife of Miz runs off with Danhausen and storyline as the curse? I mean, hey, why not? That might be the most interesting thing they do with Danhausen or with the Miz in years. I've had okay. Nike is asking if we have something called Fat Burger. I thought you were asking if we had a Fat Burger, because you didn't capitalize it. So it sounds, I didn't know that was even a place. I've never heard of Fat Burger before. So the answer is no. I don't think the answer is yes, because I've never heard of Fat Burger before. And Nathaniel said he has one and it's really good. Assuming that you're talking about a place, I've never heard of it. I've never had it. Who's had the better shows for the past few weeks, TNA or NXT? It's a good question. I think they're on par. I think both shows have been fine. If you said AEW, the answer is AEW over both of them. I think AEW has probably been the consistently best show for the last month or two over WWE, Raw or SmackDown. I would probably go AEW, Dynamite specifically, and then Raw/SmackDown. I feel like even Raw and SmackDown's worst shows, even those are more interesting than TNA's and NXT's. TNA's still a decent show, though. TNA's good. I would probably go NXT, because at least NXT's had some more title changes going on. TNA's been good, but NXT's had more title changes, and not everything's great, but it's somewhat interesting. Not that TNA's not interesting, but I would give NXT the slight edge. What grade do I give the NXT PLE over the weekend? B-. I mean, it was fine. Maybe even just a B. I enjoyed it. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't really anything you need to go out of your way to see. It was a completely forgettable show. Tatum Paxley won the North American title. Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah, not a show you got to watch. I genuinely forgot they even had a PLE multiple times until it actually happened. That's how much of an afterthought that show was. But it wasn't bad, though. Am I a fan of Tatum Paxley? Yes, she is great. I think she's one of the better parts of NXT, honestly. Saying NXT or seeing CT is known for their pizza is a sin. Oh, what the fuck else would we be known for, Daniel? Well, we're not known for much, but we are known for the pizza, and the pizza's great. You're gonna have to deal with it. It's just, I'm not saying it's the best pizza. I'm just saying it's great pizza, specifically in New Haven. Did you like Seth in the Masked People segment last night? I said this earlier, but no, I thought it was trash. Fernando said Red Robin is very good. I enjoy Red Robin. Grunt said, did they miss the boat on Sammy? Maybe. What about El Generico on AEW? El Generico, no. Sammy is so good. It would be such a significant step backward for him to put the fucking mask back on. Sammy, I don't care where he works. I don't think he's going to AEW at this point. If he was going to go to AEW, I thought he and Kevin would have gone together in early 2022, late 2021, when they had the chance to leave and they didn't. And I'm glad they actually made the right choice. I think had they gone there, I don't think they would have had as much success as they've gone on to have in WWE under Triple H. But anyway, did they miss the boat on Sammy? He should have been world champion a while ago. I mean, it's taken them way longer than it should have. Miz is a legend. We're using that term very loosely. Miz is a Hall of Famer. Miz is great. Is Miz a legend? Will he be remembered as a legend? I guess, because he's been around for 20 years. I mean, he's done everything. But he's also been booked like a fucking... listen, hey, Coco Beware, I don't know. Some of these people that you see they trot out on television, were booked like bums or they were lower card comedy gimmicks. Hey, if that's a legend, then I guess Miz is a legend too. Depends on what your definition of legend is. So his recent booking would erase what he's done? Yeah, but if you look at the totality of Miz's career, his peak was 15 years ago. He had a great 2016. And honestly, his 2016 to 2018 was great. But that was 7 fucking years ago, man. I mean, it's the same thing. His legacy is being a mid-card guy. He's been in the main events. The main event of Mania, even, that's regarded as one of the worst Manias of all time, one of the worst Mania main events of all time specifically. Does it erase what he's done? No, but he's been booked like a bum for so long, it's hard to look at him as like a star. He's not. I guess he's a star because like he's been around for 20 years. I mean, he comes out and I just don't care. I mean, I love The Miz, but what they've done with him is just not interesting at all. That falls on the booking, not really him. Revolution is this weekend. Do you think Ciampa costs the Young Bucks? Does he cost the Bucks? I don't think he'll interfere in the match. Maybe. I don't know. I am looking forward to the show. Do I think Miz is a Hall of Famer? I just answered this, but yes, I do think so. I am so glad Bayley is getting booked again. She's been deserving of this for ages, especially since putting over Sol Ruca. Despite me being a big AJ Lee fan, I think she deserves this win at Mania. Brother, I don't think the match is not happening at Mania. I love Bayley. I'm glad she's getting more of she's been overlooked and underutilized for a while now. I'm happy she won last night. I I don't think she's going to be in the Mania match. If she's in a match at Mania, I think it's going to be with Lyra for the tag titles. I don't think she just is straight up in the match facing AJ or she's winning the belt next week. I don't see any of that happening. Am I from Stamford where the WWE headquarters is? No. I don't live in Stamford, but I've been to the headquarters in Stamford. I've driven through Stamford a shit ton. I've been in Stamford a shit ton. I'm not in Stamford specifically, though. Grunt said Miz peaked with his feud with Ziggler. Yeah, like I said, I feel like his best work was 2016. The highest point he reached was 2011 when he was like the guy on Raw for like 6 or 8 months. But his best work came in 2016. I don't think anything Grunt said here is inaccurate. He said he peaked in 2016 and fell off hard after his feud with Shane in 2019. Yes. I actually thought his babyface run was great. I actually enjoyed it early on. And then the Shane stuff was so bad. He has fallen off. He's been a loser ever since. Code Black said, I think Miz is a legend in my opinion, but if you disagree, that's fine, bro. Yeah, I mean, that's fine if you agree. I mean, listen, saying Miz is a legend is not that egregious. I'm not sitting here telling you that you're absolutely wrong. I'm just asking, like, what is your definition of legend? He's legend currently. He's not a fucking legend, in my opinion. I think Miz is great. He's had a lot of longevity. He actually does not get enough praise. Do I look at him like, to me, I look at the current roster. Who do I see on the current roster as a legend? I see Rey Mysterio as a legend. I see Randy Orton as a legend. I see John Cena as a legend. I see Punk probably close to being a legend. I mean, he's not done yet, but Roman will be a legend. Miz, I mean, I guess because he's been around for 20 years. Yeah, sure. Why not? Do we want to see Miz and Carmelo for the U.S. title? No. They did the match on SmackDown, and they already had Carmelo beat him decisively. So the answer to that is no at this point. Was choosing Miz over Adam Morrison the right decision? You mean John Morrison? It was. I like John Morrison. John Morrison was not going to be around. I mean, Miz is better overall than Morrison. Morrison was the better worker. Morrison's mic skills for the longest time sucked, and I don't think that was going to improve until he left the company, which he did. He should have come back sooner. Morrison was always great, and he is still good in AEW. He's done fuck all since he joined the company a few years ago. He's barely on television. But Miz was always the brighter prospect. I mean, people looked at him as like, I don't know, but like, he's decent enough in the ring, better character, better wrestler, not better wrestler, but better talker by far. And in WWE, that's what's going to get you to the main event, and it did. Central Man Network, what's going on? He said, do you think they robbed Gunther out of a main event at Mania 42, night 1 or night 2? Or 2, he retires Goldberg, retires Cena, now retires AJ Styles. I think it's leading to nothing. I don't know if they robbed him of a main event. I don't think Gunther was ever going to main event Mania. But the fact they have nothing going on for Gunther right now is fucking criminal. Now, will he face Rey Mysterio after disrespecting Dragon Lee and unmasking him in the match last week? Maybe, but I've said before, that match doesn't really do much for me. We've seen the match before. He's not retiring Rey. That's not that interesting. But they are wasting Gunther right now, I will say that. It sounds like an excellent place to eat, this fat burger. And Daniel said the same thing. I don't think I've seen one in the Northeast. Yeah, me either. I've never seen one. Daniel said, got to try New Haven pizza one day. It's a must, in my opinion. I'm not going to say it's the best of all time. I just really like it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's amazing. Let's see. Mr. Marceau is here. I'll get to his comments in a second. Miz over Adam Morrison, the basketball player? I guess so. I guess that's what he's asking. Nike said, Fat Burger is fire. If anyone in the chat's ever come across a Fat Burger, please try it. They got this XXXL burger. If you finish the burger and fries, you get a certificate and pick on the Wall of Fame. Brother, I would be lucky if I didn't fucking die if I ate that shit. I've seen that, but I've heard of restaurants doing that. I am not someone who should be doing that. I would have a fucking heart attack and die if I even attempted that. God bless you, Nike, if you plan on trying it in the future. I wish you luck. I hope you don't die. If you get on the Wall of Fame, that's cool. What do you get, a $5 certificate for the next time you eat there? It just doesn't seem worth it to me for like day-long or days-long pain for eating that much. Your body is not meant to eat that much food. Miz is no legend. He's Coco or George the Animal Steel level. Yeah, I don't think that's entirely inaccurate. Do I see Steven turning heel during or after the match with Liv Morgan? You mean Stephanie, not Steven? No, I don't see Stephanie going heel. Do I like The Miz? Did I like The Miz as U.S. champion? I did. I thought he had very good runs with the championship, specifically the first time. That's when I became a big Miz fan. I was already a Miz fan in like '08 when I first started watching WWE, but I thought he did great work in the mid-card in '09, 2010, before he won the WWE title. Grunt said, yeah, Kevin and Sami have been treated pretty well consistently since they re-signed in 2022, no doubt. 2025, Sami Zayn aside. Yeah, not the best booking for Sami last year. They wasted a lot of time with the carrying stuff for a guy that doesn't even work there anymore. But yeah, for all the people that we could say that Triple H or WWE has botched, I mean, even still, you know what, Grunt? I first of all, I agree with everything you said. But second of all, even I can tell you that I think they should be higher up on the card. I mean, even under Vince especially, he booked Sami like shit there towards the end. But even I can tell you, for as much success as Kevin Owens and Sami have had, they should have been and should still be higher up on the card. I feel that same way about Asuka as well. She's incredible. She's accomplished everything. For everything she has done, she should be higher up on the card. Not higher up on the card, but she should have felt like a bigger deal. Like, she should be 4 horsewomen level. And she was just never really treated that way, interestingly. She was always like, if the 4 horsewomen weren't there, Asuka would take the mantle for a little while. She was never really someone they built around long term, for as great as she is. Fernando said, do you think Bayley is still going to AEW to join her friend Mercedes when her contract expires with WWE? You know, I think I may have said no at one point to that, but with every week that passes, and I see how little they've done with Bayley, and obviously she won on Monday, which was great. But overall, though, like even really since she won the title 2 years ago, ever since then, they've done almost nothing with this woman. I mean, she's not on the show, but could always be worse. Her booking's been fine, but considering how good she is and how they've treated the other 4 horsewomen, and you can argue, well, she's not on that level. Okay, maybe not as a character, but Bayley is the most well-rounded of all those performers, in my opinion. Maybe Becky I would probably put above Bayley, but at this point. But Bayley's great in the ring. She can talk. She can play both roles really well, and the booking supports her. But anyway, also just considering how she's been booked in her comments to Chris Van Vliet last year and shit she said in interviews and whatnot, and then Mercedes still being in AEW, it makes me think as more time passes, she will go to AEW when her contract expires in like a year. I think she re-signed in early 2024. She may have already re-signed like recently. I think she did. Didn't she re-sign like a year ago or something? She was booked at that point better than she's booked now. I genuinely think whenever her current contract is gone or up, she might be gone. Because that's it. Honestly, if her contract expires, whenever that is next, and she doesn't leave, then she's not going to AEW, which is fine. I think she will probably stay in WWE. But the chances increase every month that I see what this woman is not doing. Kit Wilson is the next Miz. I don't think so. At least Miz won the WWE title. I don't see Kit Wilson winning the WWE title. I can't wait to see the look on Dom Mysterio's face when the demon arrives. That should be great. Mr. Marceau said, hi, everyone. He said, thoughts on free agency so far? Crazy money, honestly, exciting. Oh, Daniel asked that. Yeah. Mr. Marceau is here, so you can ask him all of his thoughts on free agency, including who was I asked about earlier? Eric asked me to ask Grant about someone. I think it was someone on the South. Oh, Jason, it was Tatum, right? Wasn't it Jason Tatum? Maybe RJ can give his thoughts on Jason Tatum. Mario said, Miz is a legend for going from real world to tough enough to WWE champ and Mania main eventer. Yeah, that alone is a legend. You know what? Actually, you know what? Fuck that. Miz is a legend for marrying Maurice. Miz isn't like the ugliest motherfucker I've ever seen, and who am I to talk about looks? But I'm just saying, Miz really, what is the term? He batted out of his he punched out of his weight class. I don't know. She is so far above the Miz as far as like way out of his league. God bless him. And Miz seems like a nice guy too. I've always been a Miz fan, so for that alone, not even the shit that you mentioned, that shit doesn't even matter. We talk about Miz being a loser. Does that even matter when he's married Maurice? Honestly, does any of that shit even really matter? If I was him, I'd be like, I'll fucking lose to whoever you want. At the end of the day, he's still married and gets to go home to Maurice, who also seems like a lot of fun. And I love their show. She seems like a cool person too. So, God bless him. Nike fan said, hit the like button. I agree, guys. I forgot to remind you earlier. I did at the start of the video. But if you're watching, like the video. Please do so. It helps the video. If you're watching, commenting, if you're here, press the thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated. Takes almost no effort. Daniel said, Graham's Chiefs might be back with the signing of Kenneth Walker, not Keith. Yeah, hey, go Chiefs, baby. Chiefs Kingdom. We back up. Nike said, bro, we're the same size and same age, so maybe I shouldn't try it. I would not. If you are the same age as me, Nike, and you look like me, and I'm not, 1,000 pounds, and I'm also not 50 pounds, I might be somewhere in the middle. You probably should. I wouldn't honestly encourage, even if you were fucking 500 pounds, I would not encourage anyone to try that dumb shit. I know they do it for a reason, but that shit just seems like a fucking invitation to have health issues for the rest of your life. If you want to try it, what is the reward? Just to prove that you can? Like, if it was for $1 million, then maybe. But that shit always just seems so dumb to me anytime I see it. Like, why? I was at a theme park over the summer, and they had a $50 burger with like 10 fucking patties. Like a bun here, but 10 patties in between for $50. And I saw someone get it. And I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, no, I'm not one to judge. I will judge you for doing that. I think that is so insanely dumb. Now, you can say, well, they can split it. They can split it amongst 10 people. You're going to have just a fucking patty with no bun? You're psycho. That's crazy. Nathaniel said, would you have liked to have seen The Miz versus Mr. Perfect? Sure. I think they did that in All-Stars. Didn't they do that as one of the dream matches in WWE All-Stars? Yeah. Fernando saying, that burger that gets your picture on the wall sounds like a fucking suicide attempt. Exactly. That's all I get. Your picture. Hey, I'm an idiot. And you'll be fucking thrown up and shitting for the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Rest of the day, if you're lucky, probably the rest of the week. No thanks. Central Man Network, do you think Raquel Rodriguez will win a women's title in the future? Let's say yes. I could see it. Not a slam dunk, but I could see it. Mario said, while you say Asuka should be 4 horsewomen level, they barely treat Bayley like one, LOL. Yeah, but at least Bayley they've built around. Bayley's at least won at WrestleMania. Has Asuka ever won at WrestleMania? No. Bayley they have also treated like shit, I agree. Compared to the other women, I agree with you. Bayley has been booked better than Asuka. She has been. Asuka's better in the ring and shit, but they have Asuka cutting these rambling-ass promos. They've been doing that for years. It's so fucking exhausting. But Bayley's had better storylines than Asuka. But yeah, Bayley barely fits the 4 horsewomen label at this point as far as how they treat her. But even she's been a perennial, like, headline pay-per-views. They gave her a year-long title run at one point. She's won the tag titles 3 times. Asuka's had a lot of accomplishments too. She didn't win she should have won at WrestleMania 34. She didn't. They didn't even fucking put her on the card at WrestleMania 35. I think she was on the pre-show. I mean, yeah, they put Bayley on the pre-show in 2018, but I don't know. They booked her like a bigger star than they did Asuka. Maybe it's not drastically different, but I would still say Bayley's a bigger star than Asuka. Fernando said, Mercedes lost another title over the weekend. I thought she didn't put people over. I don't know if anyone said she didn't put people over. I still think the belt collector gimmick was dumb. It's kind of a waste of time. But I am glad she lost to Persephone in CMLL. I was skeptical that she would go around dropping all of these fucking indie titles. It seems like she is. Now, she has other indie titles to drop at these house. Like, her dropping a title to Persephone isn't really all that impressive because Persephone's under contract to them. Her dropping a title to Alex Windsor really isn't all that impressive because Alex Windsor is under contract to them. She needs to start losing the indie titles to people that don't work for AEW that could benefit from beating Mercedes. Alex Windsor didn't benefit at all from beating Mercedes Moné. So it's not that Mercedes doesn't lose. It's just that I really don't. The whole belt collector thing was always kind of dumb to me. It was kind of a waste of time. But, these promotions are benefiting from having her on the shows. And she's had some great matches. And, yeah, I just don't really think it was a necessary gimmick, but whatever. Have I seen The Miz in Hollywood films? I've seen a few of them. None of them were really all that good. Miz as an actor is serviceable. He's a fine actor. But I saw him in a couple of those Christmas movies. I saw him in The Marine 3. Most of those movies were mid as fuck. But I thought he himself was fine. Central Man Network. Do you think Will Hobbs, a.k.a. Royce Keys, will make an appearance on the main roster? We haven't seen him since the Rumble. The fact they put him in the Rumble and they've had nothing for him since on television is just ridiculous. I think they're going to hold off until after Mania. Not to excuse it, I just think that's probably where they're going at this point. Nike fan, did you see that McAfee said that the WWE business passed him by and he probably won't be returning right now, but never say never? He's always back. I mean, Pat McAfee will be back. It's comical. I did see that. I laughed and I tweeted about it. Wasn't the report at one point was that they saw him as the next, like, what's his name? Oh my God, what's his fucking name? The guy from Rocky. Sylvester Stallone. Didn't they see him as the next Sylvester Stallone or something? TKO did? Yeah. No, Pat McAfee will be back. There might even be a Swerve. He could be back at fucking WrestleMania. I mean, he might just be saying that to get people off the scent. I've seen Santa's Little Helper. The Page and Miz were in it. Yeah, I saw that one. Not a good movie. But they themselves were fine. What is my favorite Pat McAfee moment or match in WWE? I thought him and Gunther, I actually really liked that match. My favorite Pat McAfee match, him and Adam Cole was great. Him and Baron Corbin was fine. Austin Theory, him and Austin Theory was fine at Mania a few years ago. You know what? Maybe the Gunther match. Either that or him in War Games was great too. Yeah. I would either say the Adam Cole match or the Gunther match. The Adam Cole one shocked me because I'm like, holy shit, where the fuck did that come from? The Gunther match I liked more than most. I really thoroughly enjoyed that personally. RJ, come through real quick with your fresh fade. I agree. Let's see. She married him because she thought Miz was going to be a huge deal. Let's be honest. No, she didn't marry Miz because she thought he was going to be a huge deal. She liked the Miz. She's still with him. She didn't divorce him. It's not like she's with him for the money. Do you think Keith Lee in pro wrestling again? Will he be in pro wrestling again? I think WWE and AEW dropped the ball on him to become a potential main eventer. Yeah, WWE did early on when Vince was there, but then health issues caught up to him. Not caught up to him, but like he has had health issues. And then he has said since that he's fine, but they haven't even put him back on TV. I don't know what the fuck is going on there. But, yeah. AEW didn't really drop the ball on him necessarily because WWE dropped the ball more than AEW did. They fucking fired Keith Lee, did WWE. In AEW, he's had chances, but, they put him in a tag team at first, which was kind of lame. But then he had health issues, and then he hasn't been the same since. Is Grant enjoying the baseball classic so far? I believe he is. That's what he's told me. Since we're talking about burgers, what are your thoughts on McDonald's CEO calling McDonald's burger a product? I did see that. Or I didn't see the video, but I heard about it. It is a fucking product. He probably doesn't eat it himself, but it's a product. It's McDonald's. What do you expect? RJ said it's for the picture. As someone who has completed a burger challenge, it is well worth it for the photo and the t-shirt. I disagree. I think that shit is so fucking dumb. To put that much, I maintain what I said before. I think to put that much food in your body for a measly t-shirt that you can make online for $5, just for the idea that you could do it. It depends on what we're talking about. The idea of what someone mentioned earlier of the triple XL fucking burger shit, it's just stupid. I think it's astronomically stupid to do something dumb like that. To put that fucking garbage. To eat that shit anyway. I eat that shit all the time. I eat like shit constantly. But to eat that much shit for a fucking picture, to me is like, I don't even know what to tell you. It depends on the place and how much food we're talking about. But like you see these, like you watch the 4th of July shit, and these people eat like 85 dogs. You're just fucking stupid. You're just fucking dumb. I don't think that's impressive. I just think that's ridiculous. Nathaniel said, what was your favorite dream match in WWE All-Stars? Mine was Edge and Bret Hart and Drew versus Roddy. I don't remember, but I think they did a Punk and Stone Cold was one of them. We ranked them a few months ago. Someone sent me a question about it. I don't know if I had a favorite, but probably Punk and Stone Cold. RJ said, Bayley doesn't have the same star power as the other 4 horsewomen. Good in the ring, though. You mean as the other 3 horsewomen, because she is the 4th horsewoman, but she doesn't. Does she have the same star power as Sasha, Charlotte, or Becky? No. She does not. That's not what I said, though. I said that she's a bigger star than Asuka, but she's not in the same star level as the other 3. They still did book her like shit, though, for the better part of the past 2 years. The stuff they gave her was shit. I mean, that's not Bayley's fault. That's the company's fault. Yeah, face of the company, Pat McAfee. I know. I remember when they said that. It's just fucking dumb. I think they said that on Unreal. Wasn't that when they said that? Triple H said McAfee was the face of the company. Yeah, no, that's what you're talking about. The pros and cons of TKO. There's a lot of pros and cons. We'll be here all day. What will it take for Michael Hayes and Bruce to follow Road Dogg's lead? Nothing. I think Road Dogg, him quitting, I'll talk more about it on Thursday. It was surprising, but I can't be too surprised. Because say what you will about Hayes and Pritchard, but Road Dogg, even more than them, comes across as very reactionary, very emotional, very like, oh, you think I'm doing a bad job? Well, then I quit. Bruce and Michael Hayes just seem like they're never leaving. Unless they get fired, they're not leaving. Road Dogg has been doing this for a decade. He seems like a nice guy. I met the guy. He's a nice dude. Okay? But he seems like he gets too up in his feelings sometimes. Like he cares too much about, I mean, what if he doesn't care what I think? Who gives a shit? But like there's trolls online that will like say, go kill yourself. Stuff like that's garbage, obviously. But like even constructive criticism. I remember a decade ago, over 10 years ago, Road Dogg was on Twitter responding to people talking about questionable booking decisions. And this was when the product was fucking garbage. And he was trying to defend it. Now again, say what you will about Pritchard and Hayes. Pritchard will say dumb shit on his podcast when asked about it. But like he's not on Twitter saying, well, listen, Joe Schmo, I think my booking is better. He'll talk about it on his own podcast, which he has every right to. Hayes doesn't even bother. Hayes is a fucking dinosaur. He's not, I mean, I'm not saying he's not on social media, but he's not on Twitter as far as we know, unless these people have burners, which I wouldn't be shocked by. Road Dogg from his own account. Like, that's how emotional and reactionary that man was. So him quitting because he probably didn't like the fact they told him, hey, we're bumping you down. The creative's been garbage, which also falls on Triple H. But I just feel like Road Dogg's biggest problem, as we saw in Unreal, is that he's too emotional. And that doesn't shock me at all. So I don't think Hayes and Bruce are going anywhere. They're not quitting. They might get fired. They might die before they leave that company. Rank your favorite Jurassic Park movies from worst to best. I have not seen 2 or 3 in full, if at all. I mean, the first one is obviously the best one. I've seen all the Jurassic World movies. I think of the movies that I've seen, I would put Jurassic Park number 1. I would put Jurassic World 1 at 2. I would put Jurassic World 3 at 3. I'd put Jurassic World, the most recent one, at 4, and then the second one with like the alien kid, which I think they went back to in the third movie. I'd put that dead last. I thought that movie was absolutely terrible. But the most recent one wasn't great either. RJ said he was 17, 16 at the time. At the time, it was worth it. Oh, yeah, of course, it's worth it at the time because you're 16. You think everything's fucking worth it. Of course, if you're that age, and I mean, you are not a teenager unless you do dumb shit. And I'm no exception to that either. I didn't do that shit, but I did other shit that was probably just as dumb, if not worse. What that is, I couldn't tell you. I don't remember off the top of my head. But, of course, you do that shit at the time, and it's fucking dumb. But if you do that shit now, I just think it's... I mean, hey, listen, if you survive, great. I mean, you're not going to die. You're not guaranteed to die, but I genuinely do not think it's worth it at all. Do you think we will ever get... For the risk of it, in my personal opinion, do you think we will ever get the 4 horsewomen 4-way matches, or it's too late? It's too late. I mean, I think there's a better chance Bayley leaves before Sasha comes back. Sasha will be back. They'll probably, if Bayley were to leave, she'd probably be back too. But they missed their chance to do that match. I don't think it's happening at this point. I think Becky would be, like, you think, oh, okay, well, Sasha could come in and then Bayley could leave. Becky's going to be done by then, man. Becky has talked about it. This contract is her last. I mean, she could be lying, obviously, but I take her at her word that I feel like whatever contract she signed last year or a year or two ago, she's done after that. Grunt said, a local diner of mine had a burger challenge, but they got rid of it before I had the chance to attempt it. It's probably for the best. Nathaniel said, I hope Bayley is at WrestleMania after being left out last year. I think it'd be a slap in the face if she wasn't. Who are the new 4 horsewomen of WWE? Good question. If I had to choose, I would have almost said the 4 call-ups from last year. Roxanne, I think I've said before, Roxanne, Jordynne Grace, Julia, and Stephanie, but I would change that. Liv has been there for so long, I don't think she's a horsewoman. I think if you want to go like next generation, okay, you got to put Rhea in there. Rhea's been on the main roster for years, but she's still the biggest star they fucking have. So I would go Rhea. I would still say Bianca, Stephanie, Roxanne Perez. Julia, they clearly do not see her at that level. Jordynne Grace, I like. Maybe she can get to that level. She just debuted. I don't see Lyra at that level. You know, you can make that argument that Lyra could be in there before Roxanne. I think Roxanne has a brighter future overall than Lyra does, but Lyra's still very good. Maybe you take Bianca out, put Lyra in there. Bianca's older, but she's still like someone you could build around for the next several years if she fucking returns from her hand injury. Wendy's, Burger King, AEW, or all over McDonald's. I mean, quality-wise, you're probably not wrong. I prefer McDonald's over all of the ones that you mentioned. I don't go to A&W, not AEW, so I can't speak to that one. To me, Wendy's, Burger King, and McDonald's, they're all the fucking same. I mean, I prefer McDonald's because they have better prices, better deals, more accessible. There are almost no Wendy's or Burger Kings near me. There are way more McDonald's. Doesn't make it better. I'm just saying as far as why I like it. I like McDonald's. I'll eat Wendy's and Burger King. I like those too, but they don't have as many deals. And I mean, the quality of the food. I mean, it's all fast food. It's all the same shit, really. Some people might, Wendy's is top tier. I mean, I guess to me, it's all the same shit, but I still prefer McDonald's. How much of a waste of potential was Matt Riddle in WWE? Did he have a ceiling? A lot of wasted potential. I think Matt Riddle could have been world champion. I do, before he was his own worst enemy. His ceiling was, I think, the main event. He absolutely could have been a main eventer in that company and won a world title. And that was his own fucking fault. Nike said Thea Hale made a video the other day about how she's being bullied online. Y'all fans should leave her alone. Man, y'all don't know what these people are going through in their lives. I saw that. I thought it was like a character thing at first, but I saw she was being like legit. And I thought it was a little weird. She had someone film that video for her, and then she's like, all right, give me my phone. Let me post that. But, I mean, she's pissed off. I don't know exactly what she saw. But, I mean, the bottom line is that people on social media, a lot of it is just toxic nonsense of people that don't have anything better to do. And especially if you're in a position of her status, when you're on television, you probably get a lot of that shit. So I feel bad for her. And she probably was just like, fuck this. I'm going to post a video and hopefully they learn their lesson. But I don't think anyone watches a video like that. If you're saying mean shit to her in the first place and you see that video of her crying, these people aren't normal. Because if you think, they're going to be like, oh man, like I feel really bad about myself. I'm not going to do that anymore. That might be like 1 or 2 people. If they actually did that, if they were normal enough to do that, then they would have been normal to not fucking say what they did in the first place, unless they were having a bad day. But most of the time, these people are just incessant trolls that have nothing better to do. That shitting on people makes themselves feel better. They're not going to apologize or whatever just because they saw her crying about it. That would actually encourage them more to be like, oh, what a baby, like she's going to cry about it. I'm not saying she shouldn't have posted the video. I'm just saying that these people that are doing that shit, they're just going to either be quiet, stay quiet, or make it worse. They're not going to apologize. Most people would not. The most annoying wrestler I've ever seen? I don't know. There's a lot of annoying wrestlers, though. Grunt said, man, talking about All-Stars just makes me depressed at how 2K Battlegrounds turned out. Yeah, I never played the game. I know someone that had it, and it looks somewhat fun. I enjoyed All-Stars, though. What grade do I give Raw last night? B. Maybe that's generous. I thought the show was solid. I did not like the opening segment. I thought the Grande shit was trash, but I thought the good stuff was really good. I love the opening segment. The Gauntlet was really good, and the Judgment Day segment was great. So I'd probably go B. Maybe B-, but probably B. No lower than that. Was I disappointed? Chris Pratt was not in the Jurassic World movie. The last one. No, because, I mean, they completed that trilogy. It was time to move on. I mean, there's no reason to make more movies, but they make a fuck ton of money, so that's why they do it. Jurassic World Rebirth was fire. I didn't think so. I was kind of fucking like, what are we doing here? I was bored by it. Didn't really, completely forgot about it like by a week later. How do I feel about Paramount buying Warner Bros? It's a monopoly shit. I think it's garbage. I mean, the Netflix buying Warner Bros too, it also would have been bad, but I think Paramount buying Warner Bros is actually worse. I thought the Netflix thing was bad. I think the more I thought about the Paramount one, it's actually worse. I mean, that's literally the definition of monopolizing. But we're in such a state in the world right now where it doesn't really seem like that stuff seems to matter. So I really should not be surprised. RJ said next boys trip burger challenge. Yeah, if you want me to die, then sure. Otherwise, no thanks. I'll be on the fucking toilet the entire time. If I even survive. Have I decided if I'm going for sure to Vegas for Mania? No, I don't know yet. Still up in the air. I would like to. Definitely not. It's not set in stone until I'm there. It seems to be the way that it works usually. Would I be sad when Becky's done after her last contract? I will be, because Becky's fantastic. So yes, I will be sad about that. Best and worst episode of Dark Side of the Ring? I don't know. I mean, worst episode, I couldn't tell you because I wouldn't remember. Best episode, the Benoit episode was really well done. The Brawl for All one was just so fucking comical at how fucking stupid that whole thing was. Love that episode. The Brian Pillman one was really good. The Plane Ride from Hell one was just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this is crazy. Those are the standout ones to me. Do I think Tessa Blanchard will go to WWE? Honestly, at this point, I don't think so. I was going to say yes, but like, they didn't even put her in NXT. That's how toxic they think she is. I mean, she still could. And if she's on her best behavior, okay, cool, bring her in. But like, they didn't even put her on NXT, dude. They've put everyone from TNA on NXT. They didn't even put her on NXT. And she hasn't got like the racist chance in a long time. I think WWE's just like, yeah, whatever. She's damaged goods, even though she's still a great performer. So, yeah, I don't think she is at this point. Not impossible, though. Did I hear that Daniel Craig is being offered the role for Harvey Dent's dad for Batman 2? And if he says no, Liam Neeson is plan B. Cool. I like both guys, so either one of them would be great. Nike fan said, who from the Ruthless Aggression era do you think is next to retire? Ray, Kofi, or Orton? I mean, I wouldn't say Kofi's from Ruthless Aggression personally, but who should be the ones to retire them? Of those three, I think Ray would retire first. He's a lot closer than most. Kofi, probably in the next few years. Orton has said he wants to wrestle for another 5 years or whatever, at least. Who should retire them? Kofi, I love Kofi. I doubt they make a big stink about his retirement. I don't really think that's going to be a big deal. At this point, just have it be Gunther, because why the fuck not? Maybe someone in New Day, I don't know. The New Day would probably just be done together. Ray, Dom, definitely. Dom should absolutely retire Ray. And Orton, I mean, Orton being retired by the Legend Killer being beaten by the Career Killer would be perfect. We've seen Orton and Gunther a few times already, but it's not for another 5 years, so it's kind of too soon to say. It might even be someone that we're not thinking of. Should Royce Keys win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at Mania this year? Why not? I mean, it doesn't matter anyway, so who gives a shit? It's not at Mania. It's always the SmackDown before Mania. Do you think WWE has dropped the ball on Mandy Rose, or did they drop the ball on Mandy Rose? No. Mandy improved a lot. Her NXT run was great. I think they dropped the ball on her in 2020 when she had that great feud with Sonya, and they did nothing with Mandy after that. They dropped the ball on her then. Otherwise, she was decently pushed. She had a very good run in NXT. And the whole reason why they let her go is because she had the fucking basically porn up on her public pages. I mean, you had to pay to get it, but like that's as part of their contracts. I mean, I understand. I said this at the time, and I feel the same way. They were justified in firing her. They gave her a warning, like, if you want to stay here, then you got to let it go. And she's like, I'd rather I mean, honestly, she wasn't stupid for doing so, because seemingly she hasn't wrestled at all. I mean, she's trained, but she's been doing the OnlyFans shit or whatever it was for years, and has seemingly shown no signs of slowing down. So if these people want to keep buying for her, like, half-naked pictures or whatever, hey, more power to Mandy Rose. The whole reason why she left was, I mean, she was like, okay. And I respect that. She was like, I'd rather go do that than stay here and make a fraction of the money that I'm making on OnlyFans. So she probably was in the right on that one. But as far as them firing her, I mean, they didn't drop the ball there. I mean, that wasn't your question, but... Or did she drop the ball on herself? I misread your question. I'm sorry. So, no. I mean, really, she didn't, because if she's making millions of dollars on OnlyFans, the answer is no. So, I think, no. I mean, I don't think she would say that. King of the Ring 2026 winner predictions. For this year... I don't know. Let's say Trick Williams. Who did I say at the beginning of the year? RJ wrote it down. I don't remember what I said. I said someone, I gave two names specifically in like January. I don't remember what I said. I don't know. I'll go Trick Williams, and for the women, I don't know. I mean, you just asked King. You didn't ask Queen. So I'll go Trick Williams. Or maybe not Trick, because the winner gets a title shot at SummerSlam. Did I say Ilya maybe? Maybe Ilya, I don't know. Burger Challenge, I'm in. Daniel's in on the Burger Challenge. Am I a fan of the Kaiju? Am I a Kaiju movie fan? I saw the Godzilla movies from 2014 onward, so if those count, then yes. I saw Godzilla, Godzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla and Kong, or whatever it was. And I saw -1. They were all very good movies. Do I like the Indiana Jones films? I do. I've seen all of them. I can rank them if you wanted to. I think Chris Pratt's Star-Lord Marvel character should be back in one of the Avengers films. He probably will. They didn't really write him off. They actually did say at the end of Guardians 3 he would be back, and we haven't seen him since. I don't know where the fuck he would fit in, but I mean, if he's in the movie, cool. I don't know what more you could do with his character, though. Did I like all the Guardians films? And do I think there's going to be another one with all the cast? There's definitely not going to be another one with all the cast. I mean, they have made it pretty fucking clear. I mean, James Gunn's he's in DC now. He runs DC. They're not making another Guardians movie, I don't think, ever. And I don't think they should. They ended it so well with the third one. But yeah, I like all of them. I love all the movies. They're all honestly excellent movies. It's one of the best trilogies I've ever seen. Grunt said, I was pretty confident Bayley was going to jump over, but then she made a comment recently about how she still hopes her and Mercedes can wrestle, in WWE again, so who knows. I did see that comment. Did she say in WWE, though? She may have just meant wrestle her in general. I saw the comment. I don't know if she said WWE specifically. I think there's a better chance, honestly, at this point, that we get Bayley and Mercedes in AEW. And I would not have said this even a few months ago, but I genuinely think with the writing being on the wall that we could get Bayley and Mercedes at like an all-in. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. I still think Sasha will be back in WWE eventually, but she's so young. She's only like 30 or something. She'll be back eventually. It doesn't have to be now or anytime soon. Which is my favorite PLE of the last 10 years? Oh, I have no idea. Favorite PLE, like main roster PLE? Are we talking NXT? Are they included? I mean, my favorite pay-per-view of all time was probably Money in the Bank 2011, but that's not the last 10 years. Of the last 10 years, I don't know. I was at Mania 39 and 40. I don't know if they're my favorite shows of all time. You know what? Backlash 2024 or Backlash 2023? You know what? Actually, I take those back. Elimination Chamber last year was a phenomenal show. Or Elimination Chamber 2023 because I was there and it was a great show. So probably that one, to be honest. Do I like all the Jumanji films? I do. I like them. I will see the next one. I actually thought the first one with The Rock was great. The second one was decent. It wasn't the same. The first one was a great reboot. Kiana James, Queen of the Ring. I mean, I guess. I don't want to see that, but maybe. Am I watching the Monarch streaming series? Yes and no. I am. I have not caught up on the second episode. I've just been so fucking busy the last... ever, really. But really, the last week I've been busy. I have not caught the second episode yet. The first season was really good, though. I got a free Apple TV subscription when I got my new phone, so I've been catching shit on Apple, Monarch, and Shrinking, two great shows. Have I seen Kong Skull Island? I think I said that. I thought I said that. Maybe not, but I did see that movie. I actually really liked that movie. I enjoyed Kong Skull Island. Great star-studded cast, a lot of familiar faces from Marvel. Which ancient artifact is your favorite in the Indiana Jones franchise? I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite artifact. I mean, the Cup of Youth, the Fountain of Youth or whatever. I mean, the first movie's a classic. I think the third one might be the best movie. So whatever they go for in the third movie, it might be that one. I might say that. Nathaniel said he saw it in theaters. If you're talking about Kong, I saw that in theaters too. From 2017. But yeah, I love the I love the third Indiana Jones movie. The second one I didn't love. I thought that one was good, but it wasn't great. Fourth one was not good. I enjoyed the fifth one. Wasn't a great movie, but I enjoyed it enough, more than the fourth one. And the first one's a classic. We know Triple H is inducting his wife, but who should induct? I think you almost said Danhausen because he wants a Hall of Fame induction. Who should induct AJ in Demolition? Yeah, the Holy Grail, that's what it was. AJ Styles, I've seen John Cena pitched. I could see that. I would prefer it to be someone that has, I mean, I don't know. Him and Cena had an amazing feud in WWE. It would be nice if it was someone like Kazarian. I mean, he talks so glowingly of his wife. Just have his fucking wife do it. I mean, you can have all the husbands and wives induct each other. But, for AJ, it would be nice to me, personally, if it was someone like Abyss or Kazarian. Daniels, they're not going to have to do it. He's an AEW. Daniels, to me, would be perfect if he was free. But he has no name recognition in WWE, so they wouldn't do it. It's probably going to be Cena. For Demolition, I mean, I've seen people say current names like New Day or the Usos. I'd rather it be a team from their era. Like Tugboat and people like that. Not Tugboat. I don't remember. People have been throwing team names out there. Rick Martel is still around. I don't know if he would be a good person for that spot, but Rick Martel, you got fucking, what was the other team? I mean, Bret Hart's still around. You could have Bret Hart do it. There was another team I was thinking of. I don't remember. That could do it. Did I think of all the Kong movies were great? I only saw the one in 2017. I've seen the Jack Black one from 2005, like parts of it on TV. I don't think I've ever seen it from start to finish. And when I did watch it, I was kind of bored. Would Edge induct Cena? That would be great. But Edge, when Cena gets inducted, maybe even next year in Saudi, I don't know if Edge would be free at that point from AEW to be able to do it, if they would allow it. So him inducting Cena would be nice. I think more likely it would be someone like Orton. I could see Orton inducting Cena before Edge, even though Edge is a better rival. Or Punk. Fernando said better movie, Godzilla vs. Kong or Godzilla and Kong Frozen Empire. I don't think it was called Frozen Empire. I think Frozen Empire was the Ghostbusters movie that came out that same year. It was like something Empire. But anyway, of those two, I remember more about Godzilla vs. Kong. Both movies were good. They were not great movies. I remember more about the first one than the second one. They both kind of just blend together for me. So probably the first one, because it was cooler to see them against each other than together. So probably the first one. On that note, we will go to the scheduled questions. So we will go back to the chat in a little bit. If you want to keep on sending in your chat questions in the chat, feel free. But let's pull open the scheduled questions here. First questions. Hold on. Let me pull up the questions on my end. And like I said, we will go back to the schedule, or we'll go back to the chat after this. Keep sending in your chats. We'll close out with the chat after I'm done with these scheduled questions. And like the video, if you're still here, please do so. I would appreciate it. Anyway, here are the comments. First sent in from Grunt. He is a channel member, so he gets his questions answered first. Thank you, Grunt, for the questions. He asked, what are your thoughts on the My AEW announcement? So yeah, I did see this. AEW is launching their own streaming service, which is cool. I still don't know exactly what's on it. I didn't read the press release. I did go to the streaming service, and I checked it out, and I created an account, because you can't watch anything on there unless you have an account. It's free to sign up. And to sign up for free, you can watch old episodes of Dynamite on their channel. Not like, like on Max, you can watch all of them, I think, at any time, like select whatever. But they just have a channel. It's like one of those fucking free channels you can go to and watch a Dynamite from 2019, whatever's on at that moment. That's cool. I don't know. They might have pay-per-views on there, international pay-per-views, I heard. That's cool. I think it's great. I think every wrestling company should have their own streaming service. WWE, I mean, they made a lot of money, so they didn't fuck up, but for the fans, they did fuck up by getting rid of the WWE Network, which was incredible. They're making way more money now, so I get it. But I miss the WWE Network, and if we can get something like that with AEW on this streaming service, which kind of came out of nowhere, I think that's cool. So I'm in full favor of it. He wanted to get my thoughts on a couple of posts that he put up on Blue Sky. Did Grunt. He wanted my thoughts on something called total elimination matches, he called it. 3-way, 4-way, 6 to 10 person tags. Gets the point of the match across and is a nice nod to Saturn and Kronos. So basically, he wants these matches to be elimination matches. They do a lot of multi-man matches in AEW, but not enough elimination matches. I don't think you should do that consistently, but I think on occasion to do more elimination matches in general, I agree. You can call them total elimination. I like that. Not every 3-way, 4-way tag team match should be elimination style. That just gets fucking old. But AEW could definitely do them more. So I do like the idea. I think they should definitely do more elimination matches. You can call it total elimination. Like 10-person tags elimination is like a Survivor Series match. And they've done that before in AEW. I like that. You just can't do it all the time. His third question, I think I bolded it by accident, but his third question was, where is the LWO and Legado del Fantasma? Are they still a thing? No, I don't think so. I mean, so LWO, I think they quietly disbanded. Ray has not been with the other members of the group in like a year since he got hurt. He's only ever really been with Dragon Lee for the last year. And they're both members of the group, but they haven't represented the LWO in forever. Zelina left the group to go to SmackDown to join Aleister Black. That only leaves Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, and they haven't been on the show in many months, and when they are, they're not the LWO, to my knowledge. So, I mean, it's technically still a thing, but they never officially disbanded it. It's pretty much gone. And as far as Legado, same thing. I never heard they weren't a thing, but as far as I know, Santos is in AAA, and the other two guys, Los Garza, they were on SmackDown this past week. They're barely ever on SmackDown. They're only ever really in backstage segments. That was the most TV time they've gotten in like 6 to 8 months. So, I mean, I don't think Legado is a thing on SmackDown, and I'm not sure it's a thing in AAA either. I think they split them up. So Santos could do his thing in AAA, but I could be wrong. It's not clear, and it's annoying. Nike fan from YouTube said, when do you think we will see John Cena return to WWE? Do you think we can get an attendance announcement from John Cena at WrestleMania 42? I'm still hurting. I would not bring back Cena anytime soon. I mean, you got to give it some space after that last match, which was only in December. Could I see him popping up at Mania for an announcement for the attendance? Yes, I could see that. Do I think it'll happen? No. I feel like if he was going to be there, they would have advertised him for WWE World, which I don't think they have. I think he's going to take a break from the WWE stuff for a while. So I'm going to say no. I don't think he'll be back at any point this year, but it's not completely impossible. Maybe next year for a Hall of Fame induction in fucking Saudi or something. His next question, if Cena did not retire last year and just had a match at WrestleMania 42, who would have made for a great opponent and why? It's a good question. There were other opponents for him other than Cody at Mania last year that I pitched. You could have done him and Logan Paul at Mania instead of that Clash in Paris last year. I think that could have worked. I think him and Drew McIntyre would have been a great Mania match. Maybe not in ring-wise, but I feel like that would have been a great spot for McIntyre. A better spot than what he ended up having with Damian, which was fine, but I think the Cena match would have been higher profile. So I'll say either Drew. I mean, the Cody match worked too because they hadn't done Cody and Cena up to that point. That was also a WrestleMania-worthy match. But I'll say either Drew or Logan Paul. Can you rank the AEW All-In pay-per-views from worst to best, he asked. Not counting the 2018 one, because technically that wasn't AEW. We've only had, 3 so far? I think I would say 2024 was the best one. I think All In last year was also an excellent show. I thought that was their best pay-per-view all year, in my opinion. But I would go 2024, 2025, and then 2023. Even 2023 was a good All In show. But that felt more like a glorified house show, and it was more just about the atmosphere than the actual card, which was still good. I think the 2024 one is one of the best pay-per-views they've ever done. He also said, I recently just watched AEW All In Texas for the first time. I have a question about the main event. Which company did the match better? Jon Moxley versus Adam Page in a Texas death match, or Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns in Bloodline Rules? I mean, it depends on who you're asking. For me, it's Cody and Roman, because that had a much longer story and a lot more equity. But Moxley and Page was also fantastic. I mean, if you preferred that match, that's also fine. It was more hardcore. It was a better wrestled match, probably. Rhodes and Roman had more bullshit in it, but like it was good bullshit. Like you wanted that Avengers Endgame bullshit in it. So I go Cody Roman. That's one of the best WWE matches of the last 10 years, I'd say. But Moxley and Page is a very close second. It's very similar in that sense, and both matches are great for different reasons. Jordan B. from YouTube asked, what are some of your favorite short feuds that lasted about a month or two? For me, it's LA Knight and The Miz from 2023, Brock and Punk from 2013, Brock and Joe from 2017, Strowman and Bronson Reed from 2024, Happy Corbin and Pat McAfee from 2022, and Adam Cole and Pat McAfee from 2020. All great options. I actually enjoyed all of the feuds that you mentioned. I mentioned this one earlier, but I would throw Gunther and The Miz in there. I thought they had a fun little feud in late 2023 and a great match at Survivor Series where the crowd was really behind The Miz. Miz was never going to win, but it was a really good match, and I thought they worked really well together in Chicago. So that was a good short feud. Sammy and Gunther was a very short feud going into Mania 2 years ago, and I thought they had a good feud and a great Mania match for the Intercontinental Championship, and they ran it back later on in the year over the World Heavyweight title as well. Gunther and Orton rekindled their feud very briefly when Gunther was World Heavyweight Champion 2 years ago. I thought that was a fun feud while it lasted. Cena and Logan Paul from last year was a very short feud, and I thought the promos were great, and I thought the match was great too. Probably Logan, some of his best work in WWE. That's all recent stuff, but, you know, I'd have to really think back to like the last 10, 15, 20 years, but all the ones you mentioned I enjoyed too, especially Brock and Samoa Joe. That was a great feud and a really good match that should have gotten more time. And Joe should have won, but that's besides the point. No L from Facebook. Thoughts on Triple H going back to Cody Rhodes as world champion? And can you say Hunter has become the new Vince, going back to Cody like how Vince went back to John Cena in the 2010s? So, generally speaking, Triple H is not Vince McMahon. He is not what Vince was, even in the 2010s. Not yet, anyway. He might still soon be. Not yet. Is he pulling a Vince by taking the belt off of Cody, putting it back on him? Taking the belt off of Cody, putting it back on him. He is. Yes, he is. And you can do that sort of thing where you take it off and put it back on him, but you got to add some variety. You got to take him out of the title picture for a little while. Instead, they're following the John Cena formula of he's always in the title picture, he's always got to be challenging or winning the belt. That's going to turn people against Cody. Maybe not quite as quickly as Cena, because Cody's a better overall, it's like he's just more likable than Cena was, who just came across like a robot at that point. People will turn on Cody if they keep booking him like that. So yeah, you're actually right. They are pulling a Vince by booking him that way. Triple H is not what Vince was, even at that point, booking-wise. I mean, Triple H's booking is still far better than Vince's was for the last 15 years, at least, of Vince being on charge of creative. But they got to be careful. Cody is very slowly becoming the next Cena as far as people turning on him and the way they book him, which is not good. He can be the guy, but you can book him better so he's more likable and, you can kind of get behind him. He's more relatable. They're moving away from that, and it's a precarious position to find yourself in. Their second question, do you agree with Devon's comments about how Jade Cargill should have stayed on NXT instead of being pushed straight to the main roster? I do, actually. Jade is not awful. She is serviceable. She is tolerable. She could be better, and she probably would be better if she had more time in NXT. She had a good run in AEW, too. But NXT, she would have had the real, she did practice there, I guess, but she wasn't on NXT television. But I guess they signed Jade in late 2023. She appeared on television a few times, but when she wasn't on TV, she was at the PC. And she's been decent. She's not awful. She could still be better. At this point, I think she's just hit her limit as far as how good she'll be. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she'll improve even more so in the coming years. I don't know. Or she's just a really slow learner. I do think in retrospect, they saw Jade as she's such a big star. She should completely bypass NXT. I think it would have been nice to put her in NXT first. But then again, if she went to NXT first, she would have been in there with fucking, Julia and well, maybe not actually. Maybe even for 6 months. She would have been gone before Julia and Stephanie even got there, and Jordan Grace. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if she was there in late 2023, she would have been working with Tiffany, who she ended up working with on SmackDown. She would have been there with Roxanne, Cora Jade. Yeah, I don't know. I think she should have gone to NXT first. She's not way worse off because of it, but I do think it would have benefited her for sure. Justin K from Facebook. TNA's Feaster fired is a miserable fail with this Macklin storyline. It's time to change the name of it and replace the stipulation of the fired. What do you think of the loser not being able to compete for a title for a 6 months to a year concept? How would you fix this? I would just do away with it completely. I mean, I know they've done it for the last 20 years on and off, but they didn't do it for years on end, and it was for the better because the gimmick sucks. It's basically their version of Money in the Bank, and it's stupid. And actually firing people, but they're not actually fired, or they are actually fired, it's just lazy and it's dumb. It's a nice nostalgia thing once in a while, but the concept in general, it's like 4 people walking around with Money in the Bank briefcases. It's fucking lame, and they already do the Call Your Shot Battle Royal bullshit. So I wouldn't even do it. I mean, the idea of the loser not being able to compete for a title for 6 months to a year, I like that. I think that's actually a great idea. But my solution is don't do it at all. Push mid-card fired tag team edition. The Good Brothers, the War Dogs, and Bullet Club Gold without Jay White. Okay, so that's basically Bang Bang Gang. So push mid-card fired. I would fire the Good Brothers. If this is 2026 and we're between these 3 teams, I would fire the Good Brothers. I know you're a big Bullet Club fan. That's why you chose all the people you did. I would fire the Good Brothers, push the War Dogs, mid-card Bullet Club Gold. Without Jay White, they are a fucking mid-card group. With Jay White, they're higher up on the card, but without him, they're mid-card. At Uagu91 from Twitter, Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher will be having their rematch this Wednesday night for the TNT title. What are your thoughts? I think it's great. I think it's stupid that we're getting Fletcher and Speedball for the TNT title on Wednesday, but a trios title match on Sunday. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think you should flip those, but whatever. I am looking forward to it because they had a great TV match a couple of months ago on Dynamite during the Continental Classic, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm looking forward to their match on Wednesday's Dynamite. Should be great. Their next question. I read that one of the plans for WrestleMania was Cody Rhodes versus Drew inside Hell in the Cell. Obviously, that's not going to happen due to Rhodes being set to defend the WWE title against Orton and McIntyre likely facing Fatu. What are your thoughts? Listen, I'm not a fan of them taking the belt off of Drew when they did. I would have kept the belt on him through Mania. I'm glad he won the belt back at all. It's better than nothing. I would have kept the belt on him. That being said, even with Cody and Randy, I will still take that over another fucking Cody-Drew match. We got that on Friday. We did not need that shit at Mania. So I'm glad they're going in this direction. It's still not ideal. I would have just done a 4-way, but they want to stretch it out. Even though they fucking blue balled you with a 4-way, they're going to go with the 2 singles matches instead. Okay, whatever. But it's better than doing Cody and Drew one-on-one. And inside Hell in the Cell. Even with that step. They already got 3 stages of hell. They were inside a fucking cage already a few months ago. I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have sucked. Their last question. With Revolution this Sunday, what is your final prediction for the MJF Adam Page match? I'll go into more of my predictions on Thursday's WrestleRant Radio. I will stick with MJF, but there is a chance to go with Hangman. I'll talk more about it on Thursday. I'll be giving my full Revolution rundown for the pay-per-view card for this coming week. Coming weekend, that is. And I am looking forward to it. Give me 1 second. We got a couple more questions here. I just got to move my camera. Bam, so you guys can read the rest of the questions. All right. Last few questions here from @millennial_noob on Twitter. After last week's interaction between CM Punk and Roman Reigns, do we see a reunion between the Usos and Roman at WrestleMania? Talking about this week's question. No, I don't think so. They could reunite the Usos with Roman, give us a reunited bloodline. That would just be dog shit, uninspired, lazy, basic, dare I say even predictable. That would just accomplish nothing. That would be such a significant step backward. No thanks. I think there's a better chance of Punk going heel at WrestleMania. And I would rather see that, honestly, than a reunion of the bloodline. We've already seen them reunite a few times. If you're saying as a heel and like they help Roman win, that would just be fucking lazy. That would be like literally WWE from 2020 through 2022 all over again. Even through 2024 with them interfering, helping him win. They did it for 4 years. Why would we want to see that again? I don't. That would be terrible. So I'm going to say no, nor do I want to. Noob, second question. With 2 of the 6 women's matches added to the WrestleMania 42 card, what are the other 4 women's matches to be added to the card, with there being a rumored 6? So we have Stephanie and Liv for the Women's World Championship. We have Jade and Rhea for the Women's World Championship. No, I'm sorry. Wait. Jade and Rhea is for the WWE Women's title. I'm sorry. Liv and Stephanie's for the Women's World title. That's 2 matches. I think we're going to get a women's tag title match, which will be the Irresistible Forces, the Bella Twins, Charlotte and Alexa, and Bayley and Lyra for the tag titles. At least those 4 teams, maybe more, or different teams. That's 3. I see us getting Becky and AJ Part 2 for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, one-on-one, maybe a Stiparooski, but that's what I see happening. I see Io and Asuka. Io's got to make the card, and she doesn't have a partner. She shouldn't team with anyone but Rhea anyway. So she's got to make the card. I don't know how you get to that match. They didn't even interact on Raw last night. I know they hinted at it during the opening segment of Raw, like backstage, but they had no interaction in the gauntlet itself. But let's say they do Io Asuka. That was 4. 5, I would do... Oh, no, that was 5, actually. That was 5. I said the 2 main title matches, Becky, AJ, tag titles, Io, Asuka. In the 6th match, I would do Tiffany and Julia for the Women's United States Championship. I mean, I would like to see Chelsea on the show, but are they really going to do a multi-women match? I think Jordan Grace got hurt, so I don't think she'll be on the show. Tiffany and Julia straight up is totally fine. I said previously that would be a SmackDown before Mania match, but that was before I saw the report that they might be adding 6 matches for the women at Mania, which would be great. So I would do those matches. And last question for Matt Ope, 3-way. Who is the truest outlaw promotion in America right now, GCW or MLW? I mean, I guess it depends what your definition of outlaw promotion is. Probably GCW. MLW, people just don't even really talk about. I mean, GCW was way hotter like 5 years ago. GCW is like the king of outlaw shit. Like, the fuck are we doing here? But they have an audience that people love. People love those shows. That's like, and that's not my thing, but people dig it, and that's cool. And their shows do really well. So that to me feels outlaw. MLW feels like WWE light with all the WWE guys they have on their roster. And their shows are better. They have decent shows. They don't run enough shows, and no one ever really talks about MLW. So I'm going to go GCW over MLW. And those are all the scheduled questions. Let's get back to the chat here. Bam, before we head on out of here. Last couple of comments here. Daniel said, New Day inducting Demolition would be like Maria Menounos inducting Bob Backlund, just a lot less random, LOL. Yeah, no, Maria inducting Bob was extremely random. New Day inducting Demolition, it's random, but the only reason it's random is because they broke the record. Like, them or the Usos, they broke Demolition's record. So that's why I could see WWE putting them to induct him, or to induct Demolition because of that. Other than that, there's no reason for them to induct Demolition. Demolition, I think, should be inducted by a team from their era, like a Bret Hart. That's not a team, but like Bret Hart himself, or, you know, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. That was the team I was thinking of earlier as far as who would induct Demolition. I think that would make sense. I would not go with the Usos or New Day, but I could just see them doing that to add some modern day flavor to it. But at any rate, folks, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, this has been great. Thank you for either chatting in or watching live, liking the video. Please do that on your way out. I would appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe as well if you haven't already. Turn on notifications for every time we're live, specifically on Tuesdays and Thursdays for WrestleRant Radio. I will be flying solo on Thursday. We'll be talking about Raw from this Monday. I'll be talking about the Road Dogg news, Cody Rhodes getting back the undisputed WWE Championship on SmackDown, and full-on predictions for AEW Revolution coming up on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to and should be watching live. I didn't watch World's End live. I was at Full Gear, so I've seen the last couple of AEW shows live, except for World's End. But I'll be giving my full predictions for Revolution coming up on Thursday's WrestleRant Radio when I'm flying solo, as Mr. Marceau is off on assignment in Florida. So if you want to send in a question to the show, please do so. Tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Put a comment on the post I usually put up on Monday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video, not in the chat, but rather when it's done being live. and after it's done processing, and I'll include your question in next week's edition. Want to shout out our channel members one more time as well. That would include Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dillon DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm at I'm Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG, Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau on X, John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube, Richie Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube, and Average Grunt at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. Thank you for the support. More information and how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member down below in the description box for $5 a month. All right, guys, we'll be back live for #AskGSM next Tuesday. I'll be live on WrestleRant Radio on Thursday, and I'll be watching Hoppers on Thursday night. So stay tuned for my review of that on Letterboxd, and I'll probably review it there. Nathaniel, last comment of the day, said, how many more Five Nights at Freddy movies should they make? I mean, until they run out of ideas. Probably not 10 of them, but I could see them making a third. After that, that might be it. We might hit the limit after that, but it depends on how good or bad that third movie is, and then we can't really say after that. It's not like there's this big story they need to tell in like 5 or 7 different movies. Maybe there is. I don't know. But the movies so far, I've enjoyed the movies we've gotten so far, and if they have room to make more, then let's make more and let's enjoy it. But nonetheless, guys, thank you again for tuning in. Be sure to like the video on your way out. All that support is always greatly appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.